Okay. Three, two, one. Okay. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I was rated by the gentleman, and they can hear me now, so I was rated by the gentleman I rated earlier, so I rated him, he returned to sender, and a buddy of his has a colorful way to describe that. But yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is in your part of the world, folks. Before we get started, as always, a shout out to the lovely music we've been listening to during pre-stream here. This is Dreamer by Declan DP. You can find their information in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Thank you to Declan and everybody like them who makes it free to use our low-cost assets for us streamers so we can have better streams. Thank you very much. Also, thank you to Melkor the Great for the raid here. Oh, I'm like, who's talking about Andrew and Lele? Oh, it's rad. But yes, thank you, Melkor, for the raid during pre-stream here. We raided him at the end of last stream, and he returned to sender, as he said. Also, thank you, Jarud, for the follow a minute ago. But yes, I'm going to get us switched over to the collab screen so you can actually hear my collab mate, Rad Maho, a fellow VTuber and YouTube streamer. All right, Rad, you are here. You are live. You are talking.
Hello, I am live. I am talking. I am a little mage puppet. How is it going?
Yes, I'm going to put some background music on. Otherwise, it's going to be very quiet.
Go for it. We're not playing a game. We're just talking about games and things.
We are just talking about games. I'm going to put on the one called Arcade because that seems like a good one to... That's loud.
I love doing that.
But yes, I had an idea a couple of days ago of like seeing people do like their top 5 lists or the top 10 lists for games and things like that in a year. And I'm like, you know what? I should do like a top 10 list for my games. And then I put together a list and I'm like, I don't have 10. I don't have 10. I don't have 10 at all. But I do have 5.
We do have 5.
We do have 5. So I put together
in a couple of different categories.
I put together a few ideas in a couple different categories that I reached out to Rad, and I'm like, you want to stream this? Let's find a time to stream this. And Apparently, the only time we both had free was New Year's Eve because we're both streamers, and of course, we don't have plans.
Precisely.
But yes, this is going to be our 2023 Game Awards review list thing, whatever the fuck we're going to call it, that doesn't get us sued.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But we essentially have 4 different categories. Top 5 games we played this year. Or top 5... Yeah, it was top 5 games you played this year. Worst 5 games.
You made the categories.
I was trying to remember the phrasing for it because I was trying to remember if it was top 5 I streamed.
Okay.
But no, it's just played. Worst 5 games played this year. The 5 games I wish I had played on stream. And the top 5 memorable moments on stream. So we have our various lists put together. As my guest, Rad, which category would you like to begin with?
I just kind of assumed we would go straight down the line, kind of in how you just listed it. But we can. Why not start off with worst 5 games and get those out of the way?
Sure. And we'll start with your list then.
Okay.
Oh, and you did label it because you did like W5 and the number. Good, excellent.
Yeah, the file names should
Yeah.
be kind of labeled.
And hopefully this works. All right.
That looks great.
Your number 5.
So my number 5, I had a very hard time creating this list. My worst 5 games. My number 5 is Parasite Eve. I want to start by saying I still love this game. It's
also
pretty great.
It's also a PS1 game, right?
Yeah, well, and that's kind of part of like I didn't really play too many bad games this year. There's like 2 I straight up don't like on this list.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Parasite Eve, I 100% have to admit I have rose-tinted glasses for this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's jank as hell. It's like it's a really cool first attempt for Square to do a Resident Evil, and it's clear that they were just shunting off ideas they had for Final Fantasy VII while that was in dev to make this weird Parasite Eve game. And Parasite Eve 2 is like legit really good. Parasite Eve 1 has fantastic music, and everything else about it is weird or kind of bad. Like the visual quality is not up to snuff, even though I guess the models technically look kind of better than FF7.
They remind me a little bit of FF8. Like they're like between 7
Sure,
and 8.
Yeah, but like Aya is literally just female Cloud when it comes to design. And yeah, the models, I guess maybe it came out later or something. But like the backgrounds don't look up to par with any of the other stuff Square put out at the time. The combat has like some neat ideas that don't really go anywhere and are mostly either like okay or kind of broken and not balanced at all. Speaking of which, if you even participate in like the weapon modding system, most of the game is a complete breeze until you get to the final boss, which will just kill you. I don't know if it's a translation issue, but a lot of the dialogue not so great. The pacing of the game is really honestly whack. It feels like a game that comes from 5 or 10 years before when it came out, when you would like have to walk around to different towns in an RPG to figure out where you're supposed to go next by just talking to people, except there's no one to talk to tell you where to go. There's just maybe a new place to explore, and that might be the right location.
Might be.
I still like this game, but
not a good game by your estimate, which is fair.
It's going back and visiting it, I'm like, man, this does not live up to what I remember. Parasite Eve 2 does. That one's great. And Parasite Eve 1 still has really fantastic music, but that's like the best part of the game. So I'm also cheating because I started playing this at the end of last year to kind of have it line up with Christmas because it takes place on Christmas.
Was this the
and
one
I
that you had
finished it.
said when you were putting together your list? This is the one that you cheated on, because you'd kind of played it last year. One of the ones, yeah.
This is one of 3 of my cheats for this list. Yes.
I can't judge you too much. I absolutely cheated on my list too.
Okay. Well, good.
Okay.
I'm glad to feel included.
All right. So number 4 for Rad.
Number 4 is okay. This is also a game. So The Messenger is honestly pretty good. It's really only on here because I didn't play too many bad games this year. And so, like, I like most of The Messenger. It does some really cool stuff. It feels really good to play. It has one of my favorite grappling hooks in any game. Except for, like, another one I'm about to talk to you later on a different list. And, yeah, there's a lot of cool style and good stuff going on in The Messenger.
I remember when you were playing it, though, you talked about how much you hated the backtracking, though.
Well, and that's literally it. The latter half of the game has a lot of backtracking, and it kind of sort of feels like it's like a Ninja Gaiden Vania, and that's a cool concept, but it doesn't have enough like interconnectedness, even with like some fast travel involved, to really justify like all the backtracking that's there. Otherwise, great game.
Okay.
But in comparison to like the banger year that is 2023,
we had a very
kind of
good
low
year
on
for
my
gaming.
list.
Yeah, we had a very, very good year for gaming.
Yeah. These, for me, by the way, these get like worse in my opinion as we keep going.
Oh yeah. Like number 4, number 5 are better games than number 1 and number 2, obviously. The Last Faith. I have not heard of this one.
So, The Last Faith is pretty cool. It's a really good, like, Castlevania, Metroidvania type of thing. It's way more Castlevania flavored. It just kind of pales in comparison to a lot of other Metroidvanias that came out this year. And the only reason I have it on here is, like, I really wanted to like this game, and it feels good, sounds good, looks great. But then it has a fair amount of like instant death spike pits, and I already went through that with Blasphemous 1. And they're both a little instant death spike pit happy with some rather tight platforming, and I couldn't continue playing it.
Fair enough. Yeah, every now and again you have that game you're like, I wish I loved this more, but I just don't.
Right. I would still like recommend people who like Metroidvanias to check this one out. But I couldn't. Yeah. I have like spike pit trauma.
All right, number 2 for Rad. Grime. I remember you playing the start of this and then never really coming back to it.
I played the start of this on a stream where I was like checking out a new controller that I have that I love and still use. And then I played a little bit more off stream. And this is yet another Metroidvania that like I just kind of didn't like the feel of it. It's got a nice atmosphere and some interesting concepts, but I definitely didn't give it enough of a chance. But I just didn't jive with any of it.
Yeah.
It didn't have the charm and like the Castlevania-ness of Last Faith. It wasn't trying to be like a straight up Castlevania or a Hollow Knight or anything else out there. So like in its defense, it's fairly original for a Metroidvania, which is like a very saturated genre.
Oh yeah.
But nothing was grabbing me. And I tried a little bit and couldn't get into Grime. I would recommend Last Faith or like a bunch of other Metroidvanias that came out this year before Grime.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's sad because I had a bunch of people talk it up to me, and I was like, sounds good, and then it just wasn't.
It's just not your flavor, because that's kind of the thing with some games. Like, for a lot of Soulsborne games, I didn't like them, and the few that I have liked have all been ones that have solid blocking mechanics. Occasionally, every now and again, I think about going back to like something like Bloodborne,
Right.
but I
The
own
best one?
I own a copy of it already. And my only concern is Bloodborne is not a blocking game. There is no way you can do that.
It does
is-
not let you do that.
It is a dodge-heavy game, and I'm just like,
It is
the
a dodge mandatory game.
yeah. And the reason why I liked things like Elden Ring and Lies of P is because I could lean into my strength of the block mechanic, and I think I would hate Bloodborne because I can't do that. I like to plant my feet, stand my ground, take it on the chin, and punch them back harder. That is how I brain
Yeah.
in games, and Bloodborne is not that game.
You might like Sekiro, but that's like
That's
a weird out there thing.
that's also parry heavy too, which is another thing.
It's parry heavy, which is not the same thing. You do not like Sekiro has kind of even more exaggerated of a problem, like from your perspective of what Bloodborne has. You only get the one weapon in Sekiro, and you do not ever get to sit there and just block everything. You have to like time block everything.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I haven't
it's
picked it up
parry.
yet. But yeah, okay. So
Those are both great games. But yeah, no, if that's not your playstyle, it's not your playstyle.
and your number one, Neon Abyss.
So, I saw some people play Neon Abyss. Not for very long. I didn't watch too much because like that looks cool. I kind of want to check it out on my own, and I finally got around to checking it out a couple months ago, and I think I saw people. It's a cute, neat-looking little roguelike. I like its aesthetic. It's very pixel heavy. Later on, when things get going, it gets very chaotic. And then I picked it up and played it for myself, and I hate how this game feels. I did not like the controller layout. I did not like the movement. I didn't like it. Just felt kind of like garbage, and I could not get past that.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that.
Sometimes it's like that. I saw some stuff, and I was like, "That's flashy and neat and like ADHD heavy." But then I touched it and was repulsed hard. And that's basically it. I probably played the game for maybe 10 minutes, and I couldn't. I bounced off it harder than any other game I played this year.
Yeah,
Easy.
Fair enough. So, all right. So that's your top 5. Get rid of that so we don't flashbang chat anymore. And then gonna go out to
Top 5 worst.
Oh, sorry. Worst 5 lists. Yeah.
Or worst 5 lists. We're starting with the low balls here.
Okay. My number 5 for 5 worst games I played this year. You're gonna be a little disappointed in this, Rad. It's Control.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I was playing this off stream.
I did see you play some of this off stream.
And the beginning of it is solid. The characters are decent.
It's got such a strong open.
Yeah, it has a very strong open. There is that good power progression as you dump more and more points into throw or whatever, telekinesis, and just start wrecking people. It feels good and it feels strong. And then right around the middle of the game, maybe 2/3 the way into the game, I found myself not caring anymore because it was rapidly becoming
fine.
it was rapidly becoming apparent that the whole point of Control is government agencies is taking ownership of dangerous supernatural, they call it paranatural, but essentially supernatural objects to keep them out of the harm's way and keep them away from people and to kind of understand them just well enough so they know how to contain them. And they found something big and they're like, we're going to poke it with a stick, even though everything they were trained to do should have taught them 100% don't poke this one with a stick. And the more I play towards the end, the more I'm just like, 100% they poked it with a stick. They poked it with a stick. They didn't just poke it with a stick. They licked this fucking thing. You
Yeah,
idiots.
they definitely get in over their head. I don't know if I would say that's the point of the game, but that's definitely the setting that it drives home.
Thank
And
you,
like the
Dan.
reason the combat basically does go kind of nowhere. Like you can easily max out one or two things midway through, and then it never ever evolves past that.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit tiring, and then because definitely I think the point where I lost interest is after I got float, or the levitation ability.
It feels so good though.
It is, but that's also the point where your growth as a character paranaturally stops.
Well,
You get no
yeah.
other powers past that point. There's
Abilities wise,
there's nothing else to look forward to. So it's a mix of like, not only does the narrative not have anything that was drawing me further into the game and captivating me, because I'm just like, oh, this is one more game where smart people did a thing they absolutely should have been smart enough to know not to fucking do. And
yeah, they 100% get over their head. I love this game because of its presentation.
Oh, yeah.
All the little notes you find and read.
Oh, yeah.
Darling and stuff like that. But all of your criticisms are totally valid. Like,
yeah,
the game part of the game is not as good.
Also,
as
it's wildly lethal.
the flavor.
Like, wildly lethal at certain points. Like, this game will fuck you up at times.
Yeah, I'm about to start Alan Wake 2, and I'm a little worried about like the combat because I haven't watched anything. I don't want to watch any Alan Wake 2 bits, and Remedy, ever since Max Payne, has not been very great at making like engaging combat and game parts of the game.
Yeah.
It's all the side flavor that's super good.
Yeah, they're good at telling story, but not good at doing mechanics.
And then
Which
yeah,
I definitely,
and then the gameplay
I definitely,
is like, eh.
I definitely felt that when I was trying to play, because I was really trying like keyboard and mouse.
I believe
and
it.
More than anything else, that was the most annoying thing starting it off, because I actually played through a little bit and then I restarted it just entirely on a controller, because playing it on a mouse, I actually had to adjust my mouse sensitivity to move it around as quickly as I wanted and not have it be jank as fuck. That was really annoying.
Oh, you had to make it move faster?
Yeah, it was too slow for me.
Weird.
I don't know why. Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, for the most part, like, it's solid in some areas. It just has a couple spots that just annoyed the shit out of me. And I literally, when you have a game that when you're halfway through it, 2/3 of the way through it, you're getting to what should be the climax of the game, and I, as the player, felt like, man, I don't fucking care anymore. It's not great. It's not great.
That's fair. I really do think all of the side content in the game is where it shines.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean not like the side bosses or going to kill these rangers to collect their medallions, but literally just all the writing in the game
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah, the writing and the storytelling is amazing, but yeah.
And it looks great, but like the game play has some cool bits that don't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's super fair.
Yeah. Darn it, I was actually kind of hoping I would surprise you with this one, because I thought you'd be a little bit more in favor of it. But anyway.
I mean, I do really like Control. Those are all complaints I heard back when the game first came out, and can't fault anyone for having.
Yeah. But okay. So that's my number 5. Number 4, 3 minutes to 8.
I have not even heard of it.
So this is something I don't even remember where I heard it from. It might have just been a list of like games to check out. It did come out this year. It is a point-and-click adventure game that's a bit of a mystery, where you spawn at like 7:30 at night, and you have literally 27 minutes, which moving room to room takes a minute, no matter what you do.
Okay.
And at 3 minutes to 8, you die every single night, and your job is to figure out what's happening, what's going on, and how to fix this. And I really struggled with trying to piece this together, because like when you turn it on the first time, they straight up tell you, I built this game using dream logic and things I thought up like in the moments between sleeping and waking for like 5 years. And like it's a very, I would call it like an avant-garde game in terms of like how it does its mechanics, which is great if you're trying to look at something for art purposes, but when you want something to fucking make sense and play decently as a game, it's a little bit rough. And my worst
Right.
part about this game, the part that makes me the most upset, I did this as a collab with someone, and I went in blind, and I'm sitting there with somebody else, and we're both just like, so what the fuck do we do next? And I felt
that's rough.
so bad. Felt so bad doing to that person, that to this person. So
Were you the one that proposed it?
yeah, I was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that
That's a fun concept, but like, if you're gonna make a game, like if you're gonna take that approach to making a game, you have to really, really refine it and make certain things like flow and click and work.
yeah,
And so if like the logic behind a puzzle or piece of progression is, well, I half dreamt it in a haze one night, so it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Then that's not going to carry over to like other people.
Yeah, literally one of the things you had to do was get in the elevator at a specific minute. I think it was 7:45, and then you like go into a bar where they have like a meta conversation with you about the game itself. And it's just like, that's how you get some vital pieces. And it's just like, we had no idea what we were doing or where we were going. Like there's nothing clearly pointing you in a direction. And
Right.
Whenever there was something that's like, oh, I think you should go over here or get this, you need to get this thing to progress forward. There isn't a clear and easy way to obtain said item. It's a very confusing game. But like, it wasn't terrible. And like, it had voiceover. The visual style was amazing, but it made no damn sense trying to play it. And I felt bad, like, doing that to somebody as part of a collab. So
Yeah, that's rough.
number 3 for me, Honey Pop 2 Double Date. So there's a bit of a story behind this one.
Okay.
I played the first game a long time ago, and I liked it so much that when the sequel came out, not this past year in 2023, but I think the previous year in 2022, it was a day one purchase for me. And I played it, I got to the end, I kind of got stuck at the end boss, and I couldn't beat it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll put this down, I'll get back to it eventually. So this year, I left my job earlier in the year, and I'm like, you know what? I should, like, use some of this free time to catch up with some games I wanted to play before. So I went back, I replayed the original Honey Pop 1, and then I went back and replayed Honey Pop 2. And this game got worse as time went by. Like,
That's wild.
Playing it after the first one has some eccentric characters, but for the most part, especially when you start off the game and the original batch of 8 women you're trying to date, like, with one exception, they're all fairly believable. One of them in Honey Pop 1 is just straight up like, drugs are amazing. I do drugs all the time. And like, that's her whole vibe. And like being an asshole and shouting at other people. She's a terrible human being.
That's a video game character for sure.
Yeah. And then there's like 4 DLC-esque characters at the end that are all a little bit extra. But for the most part, it was 7 people who were all kind of believable. Honey Pop 2 has one of the more middle of the road, like not super believable, but like stretching it in a comfortable range, is one of the more down to earth characters in Honey Pop 2. Hell, the internationally traveling model is a more believable character and one of the most well-rounded, emotionally balanced characters in Honey Pop 2. The rest of them are all just tropes and stereotypes, and offensive ones at that at times. Literally, there's one person who's just like, she cleans the hotel you're at. She's also Hispanic and a felon. And those are the entirety of her personality.
That's her entire character.
Yeah.
It doesn't go deeper than that.
It doesn't. And another one is a stripper who also, I think, sleeps with her clients and also buys drugs from the felon housekeeper lady.
Sure.
Like it's so tropey, and like the characters are all super extreme. Like one of the more, like, how do I want to say this? One of the characters you meet very early at the beginning, like I think one of the tutorial dates, is you meet that universe's version of a YouTuber, specifically a trans fashion YouTuber.
Okay.
Their personality is a little bit loud, but they are probably one of the least offensive ones in the game. There's one who's just a full-on weeb who's a sugar baby on this island with her sugar mama. She is the loudest, most annoying fucking person in this game. And because the whole point of the game is double dates, going out with both characters,
Okay.
you not only have to do all of her stuff, you have to do all of her things with other people. You cannot avoid this one. So you get twice as much annoying.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. I have no experience with Honey Pop. I've seen like tidbits and snippets of people trying to play it on YouTube with lots of censoring. Isn't Honey Pop just like Peggle with panty shots? Is there characterization going on in these games?
It's bejeweled with nudity. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like, and it's captive. Like the first one's captivating. The second one, honestly,
right.
the mechanic for it isn't terrible, because like you're going on a date with two women. They each have like a stamina bar that as you interact with them more and more and complete like lines and combos, it consumes stamina. So you have to jump between them. But like there's just straight up a mechanic that like, oh, if you match this one tile set, they instantly drop to 0 stamina and they need to take a break. And then you have to go interact with the other one. So if you fuck it up and both of them are taking a break at the same time, it's an auto failure for the date. And it's so fucking annoying. And honestly, the first time I played it, I remember even liking the soundtrack, and when I went back, not even the soundtrack was good. It is a game I played once before. I tried to play it again, and it was just disappointing. And
so we're at your number 3, and you have like 0 redeeming qualities to say about Honey Pop 2.
The art's nice. The art's
okay.
Like I actually followed.
Well,
on
that's
one of,
half the game.
On one of my Twitter accounts, I follow the artist that did the character art for this, and the art actually does look very good. And I will say, going back to that trans fashion streamer, best outfits in the game by far. They did like a different one for each decade.
They fucking better have.
Yeah, like their starting one you see is like an 80s jazzercise outfit. And they have like one that's like a 60s housewife. Their swimsuit is like a sailor outfit with the piping collar from like a Japanese.
Yeah.
Like looks good, looks great. The moment anybody opens their fucking mouth, no. So
okay. Yeah.
But
yeah, I guess
it's funny. It's worth talking about because it's a game I did play this year, and I'm like, man, I hate this game. I hate it.
No, yeah, I think it's totally worth talking about. I just like I don't.
You have nothing to contribute to this.
I have nothing to contribute. I don't see the appeal of those games, like personally, especially in a year like 2023. And like, if it's just bejeweled with sometimes hentai art, then
it's not your thing.
Like if the game makes you hate the characters that are represented by that art, then yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, I played to the end for the first time and was actually at the final boss. This one I didn't even get very far into it. I gave up real quick. So
yeah.
Anyway, my number 2
deserves a spot on the list. You're number 2.
Number 2, Deathloop, another game that I played back in 2022 and fucking hated, and came back to play it again. And you know what? I still don't like Deathloop.
Still didn't like it?
Still did not like Deathloop. Like,
I've heard nothing but mixed reviews about Deathloop. Haven't touched it myself.
It has a neat concept, and it starts you off fairly strong, where like you're in a loop where every day you replay the day, and you can choose which areas you go to either kill your assassination targets, which you to win the game you have to kill all of them in a certain order so you can kill them all in one day. You have to like line things up a certain way to get that taken care of.
And so it looked like it had a neat concept, and like visually it looked good. So you have like it's almost like an action puzzle game, like an FPS puzzle game.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, just I could not get into it again. I don't know why. And the first time, like when I was playing it in 2022, it was honestly bugs. Like I would do things where like there was a puzzle I was trying to solve, and like the puzzle was like, go restore the power to the facility, and so you can turn on this generator. Yes, I know it's stupid. Fucking do it anyways. I don't know why the hell they built this place this way. And then I did, and like I was trying to stream the game. The game would crash every time I turned on the generator with the game in full screen mode. As soon as I put it in windowed mode, it was fine. So the game does not like full screen. It only will play in windowed. Even I think at the time when I was doing 1080p instead of the current one, which is like 4K monitor. Like, it's Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes games have bugs like that, but like to have something that's entirely progress blocking
Yeah.
in like a mandatory section of the game screams a lack of quality assurance.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing that really made me rage quit it last time is, obviously, like I said, you're just supposed to go after these assassination targets. You're supposed to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
The one that broke me the first time playing it was I spent like 3 hours one night meticulously going through this map, learning it, getting to my assassination target, and dying at one point and having to redo the map. And I finally got to them. I opened the door. I kick down the door. I dump 2 shotgun barrels full of lead in this guy's chest, and the game crashes. Literally killing my assassination target crashed the game.
That's pretty bad.
And I fucking rage quit so hard. And yeah, replaying it again, there isn't enough here to make me love it. It's no. And out of curiosity, Rad, out of what I've shown here, what do you think my number 1 would be? You do know this game.
For worst game?
Worst game for 2023 for me.
Are you gonna say FF16?
Fucking Final Fantasy 16.
All right.
The more I get further away from this, the more I feel disappointed by what it was. It was a single player game made by an MMO team that has a whole lot of problems because of that. Like fucking crafting mats nobody cares about, quests that make you run all over the place and waste your time like they're trying to burn your goddamn subscription timer. Like,
I mean, the
plot tanks
side
real
quests
hard
are like peaks and valleys.
Yeah, the main quest just tanks real hard in that third act. There's nothing as good as the first 2. Honestly, there's nothing as good as the first 6 hours of the game, in my opinion. I said it to you when I played it, and I meant it. The first 6 hours of this game are the best there is. Everything after that felt downhill to me.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Like I think that's a pretty common complaint about it too. I don't really need to reiterate this, but like I feel fine with basically all of it. Like just kind of falling into a hyper generic Final Fantasy tropey like story near the end, because they were doing a new thing for the first time, and Final Fantasy is kind of a series all about constantly reinventing itself and doing a new stuff like mechanic wise. And that's why I'm totally fine with it being a different type of game. You know, some people didn't like that it was an action game. Yeah. But I'll totally agree that the opening of the game is like easily the strongest. Except I really liked a lot of the character like arcs going through the end, and I know you didn't. And that's fair.
Some of them were fine, and just some of those villains near the end. Like, you need a good villain to carry it to the end, and you didn't. You had Annabelle for the first 2 arcs. She was a solid villain.
God, Annabelle's so good.
And I remember watching your friends Wooly and Reggie, and them like on a podcast.
I can't call
about,
them friends.
Well,
but
your streamers that you know and you like. I think it was Wooly on a podcast with somebody talking about how even for them the game tanked so hard as soon as Annabelle left the stage. Just because.
Yeah, I mean they still liked it. Wooly loves racism, and so
he does love games with racism themes. I remember that. I actually saw a short where somebody they were watching some people try and like dissect Detroit Becomes Human, and like, it's not about racism. It's not about that at all.
Oh,
and like
God.
Wooly and his buddy are just look at each other, and like watching these people just cope.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Just huff copium so hard, and like they had the video paused, and they're looking back, and finally the people that were talking about it, the Wooly and his friend were watching them. They unpaused.
Or Reggie.
I think it was Reggie. They unpaused the people they were watching unpaused Detroit Becomes Human and watched the next bit of dialogue. And the next bit of dialogue was just like, did you know Detroit used to be part of the Underground Railroad? And they're like, shit, right. I guess it was about racism all along.
Yeah.
And Willie is just like
the loading screen. Because Detroit has that title screen where the android talks at you. Yeah, they were watching like two white people being like, I don't know if the game's like explicitly about racism. And the director of that game, David Cage, who is a huge shithead and dumbass, will tell you that it's not about racism. But like, if you play the game, it's the most obvious thing ever. It's the central theme. It's the inescapable theme. And then, yeah, they play the title, and she's just like, MLK Underground Railroad.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, I guess maybe it is about racism, actually.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 16, I had high hopes. It
I
got
think everybody had
got
high
my
hopes.
it got my hopes up real high from the first couple hours. My first stream that I did of this, I felt amazing, and it just was downhill after that. But a couple of peaks afterwards. There were some good fights. That Titan fight was great. The
Titan
Bahamut
fight,
the Bahamut fight was great.
That soundtrack fucking rules
The
the
soundtrack-
whole way through.
The soundtrack is amazing. I would buy this soundtrack on vinyl. I actually wouldn't mind looking for it.
I think there's like 6 discs.
I'd still,
It's crazy.
I'd still fucking buy it. But yeah, overall, not what I wanted it to be. And
That's fine. That's fair.
I cannot begin to describe how much I despise the ending.
Yeah, we've had that conversation on stream, I think. I think those are all like completely fair and fairly common complaints as well.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, I liked all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely like not what a lot of people were looking for.
Yeah. It's my list versus your list. My list has a porn game and Final Fantasy on the worst ones for the year.
Yeah,
So
that's how it goes.
sometimes that's how it be. Okay, so it is my turn next. So
Yeah, you choose what category we do next.
let's do memorable moments. This is
Okay.
actually kind of a fun segue here.
Okay.
Let me actually get my text file open too, because I had little shorthand names for
Sure.
what all of these were. So, number 5, top memorable moment on stream from Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah, straight to Final Fantasy 16.
So, top 5 memorable moments. So there's a scene, a quest in the later part of the game, like right near the end, where you're supposed to go get white chocobo feathers for somebody. And you go to this
Yes.
one town, you're trying to look for them, and you go to this one merchant, and he's just like, oh, looking for some illicit merchandise? Can I interest you in this? Can I interest you in that? How about this other thing? I've got a body picture of the Viceroy I could sell you. And I stopped on a fucking dime and screamed at my computer on stream, a body picture of the Viceroy? You sick fuck, that's my mother!
Yeah.
Like, it's not much, but holy shit, did it take me out of the moment and get me to double take hard on that and just be like, oh my god. What
Yeah,
the
man.
fuck, man?
Again, the side quests in that game are like peaks and valleys. Some of them are really fucking good, and some of them are basically utter wastes of time that the game would have been better off just cutting.
Yeah. But that one,
and writing like that is part of it.
yeah. But that was a fun moment of like that caught my attention, that made me laugh, and yeah, I'll take that. That was great. Number 4, Coffee Talk 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. It's a visual novel game. The specific part here and the scene in question is the character Hyde talking about his story of his old beat-up car. So a little bit of background for Rad, because I don't know how familiar you are with this game, or how familiar the viewers are.
You've talked to me about it a little bit, but I haven't watched those VODs, and I haven't played it myself.
So Coffee Talk is a series where, think urban fantasy, where like you live in a world like D&D, but it's the modern age. So there are humans, there are orcs, there are elves, there are succubi. They're out there working jobs. One of the characters is an elf artist. Another character is his girlfriend, who's a succubus that works in like banking. There's like
Sure. Reminds me of Shadowrun.
An orc and a like merfolk lady who both work in the gaming industry. Like there's I think he's a dwarf who's a cop. Like it's just inserted that into like the modern day.
Yeah.
Hyde as a character is a vampire. He has a friend named Gallad, who is a werewolf. They're friends now. Gallad used to work for Hyde. He was like his bodyguard and chauffeur. Mm-hmm. And that ties into the story here, because Hyde, he comes in one day, we're letting him know like, hey, there's been some car vandalism in the area, and he's like, oh shit, I hope it's not where my car was parked. And it's like, oh, is it a really nice car? And he's like, no, it's a piece of shit, but I love that car. It's like, why? He's like, I've got memories.
Sure.
And he's like, what memories? And so he tells the story about how back when Gallad was his bodyguard, they were good friends, it was a good time, but Gallad never let him have any fun. So one night, he stuffed his pillows under his covers like a little kid and snuck out of the house and went like down the street to a car dealership and bought basically the cheapest fucking car he could find and drove it out to what amounts to like Lover's Lookout or whatever in that game.
Right, sure.
To have some good old-fashioned fun in the back seat with some friends that he met. And sure enough, as he's there doing this, there's a knock on the window. And it's his fucking bodyguard who tracked him down across who knows how far and got him out of there. And literally, Princess carried him out of the car to get him out of that situation. And he's like, and you have a picture in your head of what this situation must look like.
Right.
Which is where Hyde throws all of that under the bus by saying, and I would have explained it to my friend, to my bodyguard, except the ball gag was getting in the way. So that immediately makes you, that one line immediately makes you rethink this entire scene of, wait a minute, this dumbass kidnapped himself, bought the sketchiest fucking car on the lot to drive out to have kinky, nasty sex with two people he probably didn't even meet that before that night.
Yeah.
And his friend, who was
Total
rightfully
randos.
terrified of him, finds him in this compromising situation and goes to save him. And then he has to explain to his friend, wait, no, thank you for doing that, but would you mind putting me back there? We're having a good time. And his bodyguard was so upset about it afterwards, he wouldn't drive them around anymore. He actually refused. And Hyde said the only thing he could do to get his bodyguard to start driving them again is he started driving them around himself in his cheap, shitty car
Hell
that the
yeah.
bodyguard caught him in. And after 2 weeks of that, the bodyguard went back to work.
Nice.
But like,
shame him back into doing the job.
but fucking, oh, Gallen's actually a good boy. Hyde's just a little shit stirrer, is what he is, and he's glorious. He's my favorite character.
That sounds like good writing for sure.
Yeah, it's really good writing for him. But
Yeah,
like,
the ball gag definitely paints adds some color to that picture.
yeah. But man, what a fucking funny thing. Anyway, number 3 for me, Ambition: A Minute in Power. This is another visual novel game. I'm going to describe this as the end of the widow's romance quest. So as I said, the visual novel,
Okay.
you are a woman in Paris, France, who comes there basically right before the start of the French Revolution. And long story short, you're there to meet somebody, they're not there. So you're gathering information, you're selling gossip to the newspapers. That's your whole shtick and how you're making money. And while you're there, you're being a Parisian in the in the 1800s, late 1700s, late 1700s, early 1800s. You're fucking sleeping with anybody you want. And one of the people you can pursue is an older woman, a widow, with a whole lot of money. She's basically the bourgeoisie romance option. And early on, you get a very dommy-mommy vibe from her, and it continues to grow and gets stronger the longer you interact with her. But the reason why this is on my list is because once you get to Act 3 of the game, when Bastille Day happens in France, which is the big event that kickstarts the revolution, you have like a little small period at the end where you can kind of finish up any quests you were in the middle of and go and have a final special date with your like number 1 romance option, which for me was the widow. And she invites me over to her house in the evening. She goes and meets me in the garden. I'm like, oh, it's so nice of you to invite me over. Why are all the windows facing the garden have their lights out? And she's like, oh, honey, I didn't want anybody to disturb us. And she describes pulling like a cloth or something off of a table and starts describing the things on the table. And the more she starts describing them, the more I start sweating. And I'm like, chat, I'm going to pause the stream for a minute and do a quick Google search as I rapidly try to find out how NC-17 this fucking game is.
Okay, and is it?
Put the fucking fear of God into me, and I couldn't find anything.
Well, that's good.
So I went back in there, and
You get your censor screen ready.
I read a couple more lines of dialogue, and I'm not feeling any more comfortable. So what I eventually end up doing is, here's your hat. I was cutting off some of it. what I eventually ended up doing was telling chat, like, listen, chat, I'm sorry. I'm going to turn off the game capture for a minute here just to be safe. So for like a minute or two, I'm progressing forward and just reading the dialogue out loud, what I felt comfortable doing. And then I finally saw the image they were sharing, and I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Shared it with chat. We went on a little bit more, and there's some more dialogue, and I'm like, chat, I'm going to turn off the game capture again. And got through that section, but man, a fucking game that put the fear of God into me. I swear. All it took was a Frenchman with an attitude, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you have to censor early, and that would do it.
Yeah, that game scared the hell out of me, yeah.
Because that sounds like it could either get really kinky or really beheady very quickly.
This was more the kinky side. The lady.
Yeah.
Literally, like the first date you go on with her, she shows up at your house early to give you her dress. A dress that she used to own, and proceeds to help you don it.
Uh-huh.
Ever so slightly dommy mommy, this woman.
She looks like it. If this is the
This
lady
is not
in
her.
the
No.
title.
No,
Okay.
it's not. Number 2. Sea of Stars. Specifically, the
Really?
true ending, which I will not spoil for Rad because God is my witness. You need to play this fucking game.
Yeah, I'm definitely going. It's on my list. Absolutely. I think I have it like installed right now.
Yeah, there is a scene in the true ending, like one of the last scenes in the game, where somebody picks a fight with someone or something so far above their weight class, and they're just brazen as fuck about it. And it had me screaming and squealing at my computer. It's no longer.
That sounds cool so far.
It's no longer like the VOD's no longer around. I didn't clip it because I didn't want to spoil anybody because it's a huge spoiler, which is why I can't talk about it in more detail. But holy shit, that was a moment in this game that I was not expecting, that surprised me, that impressed me, and fuck yeah.
Good. I mean, was that a bad thing? It sounds like a good
it was
thing.
very good. This is a memorable moment. So like it's
Right. Okay.
so
Okay.
it's a good moment.
Good.
All right.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a hype as fuck moment. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then my number 1 memorable moment from streaming this year. Xenogears. What I'm referring to as my night of 1 HP and a dream. Because I probably mentioned it to you in the past and you might have forgotten it. When I was playing Xenogears, it took me about 3 months to get through this game. And on the
big game.
On the final night, I'm in the last world. I'm on the final world map.
Yeah.
And I'm exploring the one area near the end where you can get some really good gear parts. And I go to save at one point, and something weird happens. And I go to save again, and it won't save. I go to save again, and it won't save. It's like, oh, reformat your memory card.
Right.
I do that. It won't save.
Uh-oh.
So now I'm 60 hours into this game, 3 months of progress. And if
Just deleted your
anything
saves.
happens, no, it wouldn't save at all anyways. I don't even know.
But like after reformatting, right?
Well, reformatting definitely fucked it up. But even if I hadn't reformatted it, I still don't know if the saves would have been recoverable. Like,
Man.
So there I am, end game, within reach of the final boss. But if I die for any reason at all, if I get a power outage, it's over.
That's a true blue, like, old PlayStation, not even JRPG, but just any long game problem. Like, I've been watching some people play Metal Gear and have save issues in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god, that's 30 hours. You were 60 hours into this thing.
Yeah. And
Xenogears is big.
And best of all, I fucking beat it anyways. I almost died, but I got it. So
that final boss fight, like, can kill you.
Yeah,
it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's not a joke.
No, it's not. Deus was a mean son of a bitch.
He is.
I managed to clear it. I did. I almost fucking went down, but I managed to clear it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
that's legit scary.
Yeah, that scared me more than the French lady. But,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that is legit terrifying. That's real old school problems right there. Okay.
Let me
Do we want to
switch-
do?
Well, for the last time we did,
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
yeah, it would be moments. It would be your moments, and then we'll let you pick again for this afterwards.
My top moments then.
So I think are these the ones you marked for WPOS?
No, that's wish I played on stream.
Oh, right, that's a different one. Yes. Is that SM5?
Yeah. Top 5 stream moments.
Okay. So Rad's number 5, Disco Elysium with me.
Yeah. So this is another one of my cheats
Mm-hmm.
because we did not start that game this year, but we did finish it
We did
this
finish
year.
it.
And despite that game being full of just amazing moment after amazing moment, and having a bunch of those early on, the ending is typically one of my favorite parts of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many good moments early on, and there's so many good moments near the end of it. Fucking, I love seeing people like react to the phasmid. You like the thumbnail?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. I love seeing people react to the phasmid. I love seeing people react to like the
I remember I was talking about like who the killer was, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
by logic of storytelling, it should be something like this, and you're just like, mm-hmm.
yeah
And just
multiple times
keeping your
you would
mouth
mention,
shut
like,
about who it was and what it was.
should be
and-
someone we've met already, and I'm like, yeah, no, that makes total sense. And knowing, of course, that you get to the end and the game's like, well, you're playing a detective game. You think you can figure out who it is? Fuck you. You have literally zero chance of ever figuring out who did the murder and why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
Yeah, it's a big subversion of that trope.
Yeah, it really is. And it has this beautiful like denouement, and so I love seeing people experience that and chatting about it. You finally, on the final day, after like crazy shit happens and like little crazy things happen, especially if you're not playing boring cop, but
Mm-hmm.
even if you do, some crazy stuff happens. You can't avoid Measurehead. You can't avoid talking to the union leader. You can't avoid finding out about the Pale. And then
Oof. Yeah, the Pale.
the Pale's so cool. And then, which is like a world-shattering moment. But then at the end, like everything finally kind of falls into peace. And I think you caught those flowers on the rooftop, which is like one of the few things that can actually link you to the killer at the end, but you only get that link at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like this beautiful denouement, like with the rest of your squad after you've met them and maybe or maybe
Solve the
not
mystery,
guessed that. Yeah, maybe or maybe not guessed that they're like your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just Disco Elysium is so fucking good the whole way through.
I love that you
And-
made me
and, like-
Harry Dubois in this one too, by the way.
Oh, I had to. You were playing the game.
Yeah.
You're the main character there. And man, you played a clean Harry, and you know what? Good on you, cause it's so tempting. Like it's so much fun to go back through and be like, I am gonna point this gun at this child. And pull the trigger. I am gonna punch Kuno in the face.
Yep.
I am going to drink all of the alcohol that the game throws at me,
Yep.
which will kill you, but you can live if you have healing for it.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love that game so much, and I love seeing new people experience it. So,
Yeah, it was a good game.
I don't know if like all of the rest of my moments really beat this game, but it happened so long ago. I just felt like this was a good place to start.
I definitely
know.
think putting it on here at some point is a good solid place for it. I agree.
Yeah, we had that ending this year, and Disco Elysium rules.
Mhm.
Everyone should play it,
Agreed. Number 4.
especially children.
Number 4 for you. You just said FromSoft and listed so many games from their catalog.
Right. So, this has like been an ongoing thing in my channel actually, because the only FromSoft game I played this year was Armored Core.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on stream.
Yeah.
Was Armored Core, but I have this viewer who came in, I think either when I was playing Ultra Kill or when I was playing Armored Core. This guy, I think they're a guy, I don't know, named Reforged Sword, and
I remember that.
they were like playing Armored Core at the same time I was, and so we got to chatting about it, and like how, you know, FromSoft had learned from Elden Ring and all their previous experience with Souls and all their other games. But like Armored Core had always existed before that, and it was cool back then too. And they started on this journey of like going through FromSoft's category backwards. They, after that, they played through Elden Ring, and then they played through Dark Souls 3. And I think they're still planning on going back to play everything except for like, I think that they want to play Sekiro, and I don't know about if they can get their hands on Bloodborne or not. But they want to like keep going back through the catalog. And so that's just been like such a fun ongoing thing to like chat on and off about. Like they're going back and seeing how they came to Armored Core, and then they're going back more and seeing how they came to Elden Ring. And like I like people discovering and loving FromSoft's catalog because I fucking love FromSoft games. It's just been great.
Nice.
That's my number 4. That's it. I had a viewer, they're going on a journey. It's really cool to like chat with them about that journey.
That's a good journey too.
Yeah.
Number 3. This one I'm confused about because it's just a screenshot.
It's just a screenshot. So I played through, you know, a lot of YouTubers have been playing through Chilla's Arts games as they come out. And I played through, I want to say like 5, maybe just 4, but at least 4. And the first couple I played, I was like, yeah, okay. Those are all right. Those are neat little like kusoge horror games. They're very clearly, at least they started off being very clearly like made by one person and with like a little help with voice acting or something from other people. And every single game that they put out gets a little bit better. And so like the first two I played like the Night Shift. I don't think I played the Convenience Store on stream, and I played something else. Anyway, they kept getting better and better, and they eventually got scary. And then I played Parasocial, and it's kind of hard to see in this screenshot because it's fucking dork. But Parasocial is a really cool game about like being a VTuber streamer. Like I think Chilla knew both their audience and why they were getting popular. And so it's a game about being a VTuber streamer, and you start off playing like one of Chilla's first games, kind of like emulated within this game, on stream, and then someone sends you like, hey, you should play this game, I'll send you a file, and it's totally like a virus type of thing that hacks your player's computer and reveals their face live on stream. And then the whole rest of the game is about, there's clearly someone stalking you, but you're kind of uncertain who the stalker is, and that comes to like a pretty cool twist. But this fucking moment, they're basically like blackmailing you into continuing to do what they say, and eventually you have to play a game that's literally them. It's like a video collage of them sneaking into your house live. And like,
ooh, fuck.
Right. So if you look at this screenshot, you can kind of see right above that dinner table, there's a little black something peeking around the corner, and fucking when the video like peeks around the corner of your own apartment while you're live on stream, and this is the thing that you're streaming, and it looks at you doing the streaming, you can look over and see this shaded hand with the cell phone camera fucking videoing you.
Oh, goddamn.
And I was like, that's such a powerful moment. Holy shit, that's so well done. And I was blown away by just how well constructed Parasocial is. It's super fucking cool. And that moment in particular is probably my favorite moment of the game. There's no like jump scare in Parasocial, really. It just builds tension and then like strangles you with it.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Like, a lot of the previous games have jump scares, and some of them I was like, and a few of them really got me, and some of them are kind of famous, but Parasocial just builds and builds and builds, and then there's like a chase at the end, and it's great. And like this moment in particular, you're like forced to do a live stream that your stalker is forcing you to do, and then they're walking along your apartment corridor, and then they're coming in your door, and then they're staring right at you while you're streaming them staring right at you, and you can look over and see them recording you live, and you're like, fuck, they're in my house, they're right fucking there, and you can't do anything about it. It's tense. It's so good.
This is why I do not do the horror games. That would fuck me up.
It's so good. It's so good. Just like seeing that, and you're like, you're seeing the video because you're playing the streamer doing the live streaming, and you're like, God damn, that's creepy as hell. Hey, I wonder if I look over right now. Holy shit, they're right there. You can see it. They're like 15 feet away, maybe. It's so creepy and so good. I love it to death. Parasocial is amazing.
I feel uncomfortable just talking about it a little bit. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And this one, I can't see the name at the top. This is Ifrit Risen, though.
That is Ifrit Risen.
Number 2, Ifrit Risen from Final Fantasy 16. My least favorite game this year.
Your least favorite game of the year.
I will say
this
though,
moment's hype as fuck.
yeah,
though, right?
This moment's great. The fight that this is in is a fantastic fight.
Right. We mentioned it earlier. Like the Titan fight is fucking amazing, and that had Platinum come in and do the whole sequence, and it shows. The Bahamut sequence, when you fight against like Bahamut Lost, and it's you and your bro, and then you do a Gurren login, and then you do a rider kick, like that's this moment in FF16 is like one of the hypest things I've experienced the entire year.
Yeah, it's a space kaiju fight, and it's amazing. Even I have to acknowledge it. Like this scene, this part of the game is, in my opinion, the last big high point of the game, and it is such a good fucking high point.
It's so good. And yeah, like to lend even more credence to like your overall opinion of the game, it's like at the 75% waypoint, the 60% waypoint, something like that. You cannot top this scene. No. The game does not top this scene. I really like the fight against Odin. You cannot top the Bahamut Lost fight with Ifrit Risen. It's so hype.
Not even the end boss, which should top this scene, tops this scene.
Yeah, that's a Final Fantasy thing of the end boss just kind of being like, yeah, I guess. Weird, unknowable god thing. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
That scene's so fucking good. Yeah. God damn, Soken goes so hard on like, because it's another
it's one of those things remix, where in
it's another remix of Phoenix's theme. It's so good.
Yeah, in this fight here, they have an assignment and they fucking nail it. If we could give them better than an A+, we would. My grievance is everything outside of this scene is not an A+. Right after this, the part with oh god, what's your fucking mother's name? I blanked on it.
Is it Anna? It's Anna something.
Annabelle.
Anastasia? Annabelle.
Yeah, the Annabelle scene after this also very good. But like,
yeah, fantastic.
Once
Loved
this
it.
arc ends, the game is never this good again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had it. They had
agree.
one job. They understood the assignment, and they fucking knocked it out of the park.
It's so good.
The problem
It's
is
one of
they didn't.
one of the hypest moments of the entire year.
Yeah, just the problem with this game, in my opinion, the team that built this moment did not make the rest of the game. They didn't make all the side quests. They didn't make all the other stuff. There's a team that their whole job for 2 years was to make this scene amazing, and they did it. And somebody else was doing the side quests part.
Yeah, I mean I think the problem is like what you've said before. They totally did make this scene and the rest of the game. They're just not. They have zero experience making a game of this type.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when you compare it to DMC5, where everything just gets cooler and cooler and cooler until the end, which is the fucking coolest.
Yep.
The pacing and spacing of FF16 doesn't meet up to those standards.
Nope.
But this is still one of the hypest moments ever.
Amen. So, okay. Now, your number one memorable moment from streaming.
My number one memorable moment is a thing that I think we can both love. Is that a fucking Xenogears reference? Holy shit!
So, this is Hi-Fi Rush in the background, which is a game both Rad and I have played on stream this year, no less. And there's a part near the end of the game where clearly they didn't have the money in the budget to like do a whole bunch of extra missions. So rather than like do their own thing, they apparently reached out to the studio that made Xenogears and like, we want to do a reference to your game and ours. Met them, talked about it, and they showed this scene of what they wanted to do, and the other people were like, that's it? This is
yeah
sure, go ahead, have nuts.
They had the exact same problems that Xenogears had, and that they wanted to do a lot more than they could. And this is a game whose themes might as well be entirely about like making a video game in the video game industry. There's more to it than that, but like that features heavily.
Yeah, I see it as like a broader anti-capitalism message because there's a lot of
there's a lot of that. They have a scene where like you encounter a thing that looks like it should be a boss and is designed like a boss, and then there's just a cutscene and a boss fight doesn't happen, and a character is totally like, if you talk to them afterwards, is totally like, man, I feel sorry for the designer who worked on that thing. It looked like it was gonna be a real boss fight.
It looked like it would have been amazing too.
Looked like it would have been super fun, but they just couldn't do it. And so the whole game has that theme. And yeah, like you just said, they had like, they wanted to do a full level that was basically bridging a gap from where they were to like the end of the game. And they just didn't have the time or money or resources to do it. And they absolutely refused to crunch their team.
Yeah. So they did the best possible cutscene they could have done.
The best possible thing they could. Everybody was huge Xenogears fans. And I don't even know if they went into making this game like realizing that they all loved Xenogears, but when they were brainstorming, they were like, what if we just do a Xenogears? And yeah, like you said, they contacted Square and were like, they set up a meeting with lawyers and everything. And Square came to the table being like, okay, so do you want to like recreate the mecha, or do you want to like use some of our music? Like, do we need to get licensing and character stuff out of this? And then they showed them the scene, and like, we want to recreate this scene, the beginning of disc 2. And Square's lawyers were like,
that's it?
There's nothing infringing here. Go for it. It's stylistic. You didn't need to even ask. And whoever else they were talking with at Square were like, that's what you want to do? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like, we don't look back fondly on that scene. And the people behind Hi-Fi Rush were like, we fucking love it, actually.
So to explain this mechanically to people who might not have seen either of these games, because while I did play Xenogears on stream, while we both, Rad and I, played Hi-Fi Rush on stream, if you didn't see those, the scene in Xenogears involves a character sitting down while across waves, you can't see my mouse cursor, while across waves back and forth in front of the scene in kind of like a metronome thing, to kind of like distract you while there's a lot of exposition. In this scene, they have the character sitting on the couch while his MP3 player swings back and forth in a metronome fashion, and there's this big like screen behind him that's showing like all of the exposition where they're talking about their crazy plan of what they're going to do. So
and in Xenogears, it's the characters like talking about serious shit. The world is changing and it's horrific for most people in that game.
Yeah.
And in Hi-Fi Rush, it's Chai, who's an airhead the entire way through, being like, this was the best fucking plan ever. It was so cool. It couldn't fail. And every single character that comes in to intersect, whereas in Xenogears, you had people back up and like tell their side of the story where other shit was also going bad and like what was going on while the main character was absent. In Hi-Fi Rush, everybody immediately comes in and is like, it was the worst plan any of us had ever heard. It couldn't possibly work. It was doomed to fail from the beginning.
Statistically, the least likely to succeed, as one character describes it.
Right there. But then it works.
Yeah, then it works. Which, to explain to people, in case you haven't figured it out from the image here, the character Chai, who is the one on the couch and on his knees in the background, wants to stick himself. Is your player character wants you to stick him in a cannon and have you fire him at the skyscraper where the final boss is hiding. That's his plan. He wants you to shoot him out of a cannon at something.
That's it. That's his brilliant idea.
And the crazy thing is, it mostly fucking works.
It basically goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, the balloon gets in the way because they didn't actually like make sure that there wasn't going to be something in the way.
There was no real planning. It's just like I was fucking stun locked. Like,
yeah,
Reforged story is cooler. The Ifrit Risen is more hype. The parasocial thing is incredibly well done.
But who's going to predict this Xenogears reference in a game
Disco
like
Elysium
this?
is fucking amazing. Who is this reference for? That game is like 20 years old.
You keep talking. I'm gonna go fill up my drink again.
It's who is this reference for? Why is there a Xenogears reference? An old JRPG that some people really fucking love and a bunch of other people completely forgot, especially in light of the new Xeno games, which are basically unrelated but kind of use similar ideas. Why does this scene exist at all in the year 2023? And it's so fucking good and came out of left field, and I was just completely stun-locked. I swear this is probably not true, but it feels true. I sat there and was just like, is this a fucking Xenogears reference? Holy shit. Who? What? How? For like 5 minutes straight. It's so good. They nail everything. The spotlights, the little iPod swinging in place of a cross. It's like the exact same scene while being an inversion.
Yeah.
Because it's done for the same reasons, but it's really like heavy and impactful. Well, I mean,
in Xenogears,
definitely.
This one is 100%
in Xenogears,
comedic.
Yeah, they both absolutely reek of not having enough time or money to do what they wanted to do. But otherwise, like, heavy, important shit is going down in Xenogears. And it sucks for everybody in the world. It's grotesque. And in Hi-Fi Rush, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like, fully embracing stupid Saturday morning cartoon logic. That's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
It's beautiful. I fucking love this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't... Hi-Fi Rush is so fucking good.
It is a very good game.
It's so good.
I will say one thing about did I lose it? I might have lost it.
Brain no work.
Brain no work. Oh, I remember now. Your reaction to this scene, the way you're describing it, is exactly my reaction to that moment at the end of Sea of Stars. But I didn't have the luxury of sitting in it for 5 minutes. But that was the Sunlock scene for me.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good. I can't wait to play it even more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's your top 5.
That is my top 5.
Your moment. Your top 5 moments.
Top 5 moments on stream.
Yeah. So we've got 2 categories left.
I say we go with top 5 games we wish we played on stream.
Okay.
And you go first because I have to go pee real quick.
Okay. I will do that then. As I chew on my chocolate covered donut that I got while I was up.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Number 5 for me, Cat Quest. It's a cute little action RPG game in a fantasy world full of cats. You are a cat knight fighting dragons. It sounds dumb. It sounds stupid. It is an actually solid game. I have the sequel. I want to play the sequel on stream. It's actually just a really solid game, and it's short too. Like, it was like 10 hours, maybe. Actually, fuck it. What? How long did I play Cat's Quest? Cat's Quest, I beat the entire thing in 7.5 hours. Loved it. I got it on sale. What is it on? Yeah, like full price is $12.99. I got it on sale. It's on sale right now for Steam, for the Steam Winter Sale for $4.28. Fucking buy it. Holy shit, buy it. It's a good fucking game. Like, but I had a lot of fun with it. Wish I played it on stream. Because, yeah, it would have been a good, like, 1 to 2 streams, maybe 3 at the most. But it was so good. It was really fun. And cute. Dumb cat puns the whole way through. Loved it.
That sounds great. I like that art.
Yeah.
It looks cute already, just from, like, the title.
Yeah, it's their logo. Yeah, like, literally, like, I think your character is the Dragon Blood. Like, cat.
Sure, okay.
Or something like that. Like, it's hammy as fuck, but I love it.
Definitely not the Dragonborn.
No. Maybe they did call it that, though. I'm not sure. But number 4 for me, for games I wish I played on stream this year. Tunic!
Oh, Tunic's so good.
Tunic is real good. I actually went and double-checked this one. I bought it during the Steam Winter Sale last year in 2022, which means I would have been playing it in January, and it would have counted it. But it is one of those games I really wish my first time playing it had been on stream, because it was so good and it was so neat. And those moments when it clicks and what you have to do and how you have to beat it are so good.
It's expertly well done. I legit put this on my list, and then I went to go check, and I was like, damn it, I played that last year.
Yeah.
Tunic is so strong.
I think it was up for Game of the Year last year. It just wasn't going to beat Elden Ring or the other stuff on the top list. But,
yeah, it wasn't. It had no chance, but it's really strong.
Mm-hmm. If you
I don't remember the music too well,
SNES,
but
if you like the SNES era Zelda games and things like that, Tunic.
Yeah.
Play Tunic.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really super good, like, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, but really smart the whole way through.
Exactly, yeah. So, number 3 for me, Horizon Forbidden West. Bought this back in, I think, March, and played it mostly on my own time on the PS4 before getting the PS5, which actually handled the game even better. Liked it, really liked it. Good game, played the heck out of it. I wish I played it on stream. I would
have expected you to play this on stream, honestly.
Every now and again, I'll find a game and I'm like, this one's for me.
Yeah, no, that's super fair.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this one for me. And I did that with a couple of really good games this year. Most of the ones on my list here are like, I'm playing this for me. Tunic was another good example of that. Horizon is as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's I'm guilty. I think some of the games that I wish I played on stream were kind of exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just like, I need a me thing.
Yep. So yeah, great game. Love it. I might play it on stream again at some point later, but we'll see. So this was number 3. Number 2, Armored Core 6: The Fires of Rubicon. It was a game I took for me, and yeah, should have played this one on stream. Such a good game.
Buddy.
Hey buddy, indeed.
Oh my god.
Hey buddy, the fuck yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about Armored Core 6.
No,
it's
neither
so
do
good.
I. Neither do I. And it's only my number 2. So
they keep like putting out little updates, and they made the PvP better recently.
I saw they put some new parts in. Yeah,
they put some new parts in. All of the like weapon balances, I think everybody loves. It's great.
Nice. So the next, the number one I wish I'd played on stream is the biggest asterisk on my list.
Okay.
Because it is 2 games.
Okay.
And it is
Sure.
2 games I have technically played on stream, but it wasn't my first playthrough, which is what I wish I'd played on stream. Because it is
Yeah, for sure.
Lies of P and Cassette Beasts. So I played Lies of P on stream. Y'all got to see me do that, but I'd already played through it once. The Lies of P run you guys saw was me doing essentially a challenge run using the same type of build as another streamer that I liked and I've been watching a lot to sass her about playing her game and build wrong.
Nice.
And yeah, she's very happy about the one video I uploaded to YouTube talking about it too. I got a little you little shit you. So
Nice.
Malice, if you're watching.
No, yeah, that's always a good feeling.
Yeah, and Cassette Beast, Rad and I did one stream of this as a collab, and then I watched his next stream where he was playing it, and I got the Jonesin, and I fucking beat it within a week.
It's super good.
And then I came back in for my my Christmas stream, and I was playing a new run through of Cassette Beast there, and I'm gonna fucking play this next year. I'm
There you
playing
go.
all of it on stream. I'm picking up the one from Christmas and playing the rest of it on stream. But damn it, I wish I played the first time through on stream because I can't get those first reactions back again.
Yeah, exactly. Minor spoiler, I might also play that on stream.
You
next
should
year.
do that. You stopped you stopped right before the really fucking good part.
That's what I hear. Like, you've told me that, and I
You've heard it from
hear
other people
say,
too.
like, I've heard it from other sources. It just gets better and better, and I believe it.
So
It's easily the best Pokemon-like game I've ever played.
yeah, I think it's actually better than
the
Pokemon.
music.
Which actually,
Yeah, like, as a game, I think it's better than Pokemon. The setting, and you've beat it, I haven't. The setting's pretty cool. The music rules. It's great.
So,
It's super good.
one thing actually of note for my my playthrough. Sorry. When you're playing through the game early on, when they start talking about bootleg tapes, which is so the whole thing in the game is instead of catching monsters and putting them in Pokeballs, you record monsters onto cassette tapes. And a bootleg is a monster that you get whose typing is different than its natural typing. So like,
Yeah, it's a shiny Pokemon, except it actually has mechanical differences.
yeah, it changes the type, and since a lot of moves in the game will sync their damage to whatever the type of your creature is, changing the type is potentially game breaking. And I got one for Christmas. So when you're at an early part of the
Nice.
game and somebody talks about bootlegging, they'll give you a bootleg tape. And I think the first time I did it, I got like a dumb one that really wasn't very good. The Christmas one, I got one of those fucking murder snakes from the beginning of the game that are high speed and high damage.
Yeah.
And I got it as Earth Element, which does not have any naturally occurring high damage units. So I have a
okay.
I have a counter for all of the plastic types, for the fucking
Yeah.
fire types, for the electric types, which have Earth is the only fucking counter for those, I think.
Yeah.
And I finally got one, and it's going to be a murder beast. It's going to be high speed, high physical damage, and hit like a goddamn truck.
They
I'm
do.
so fucking hyped for getting back to this and taking that one creature and just having it be a vicious machine of death.
Hell yeah. The game's so fucking good.
It so is. It really is. I'm so mad that all of the other good stuff came out right when you were playing. You're like, I have to put this down. I need to play Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm like, I can't even be mad. It's going to win Game of the Year. And it did. But
Yeah, it does. I mean, it deserves it.
yeah, it does. All right.
Yeah.
So, Rads?
I guess with that, we could move on to my top 5 I wish I played on stream, because there's a similarity there.
Yeah, I noticed that as I'm looking at yours. Number 5 for you, Unsighted.
Yeah, Unsighted. I talked to you about this, I think, once.
Is this the one where like you had to like give people resources so they didn't go crazy and murder you?
Yeah. So Unsighted is a really cool, also a game that, like Tunic, is also kind of like an old school Zelda game. It's a very neat adventure game that's like kind of cyber dystopia. and just has a lot of very, very like humanist themes. Basically, all of the characters in the game are robots. Everyone on the screen here, except for the dog and the black lady in the science coat, are just total androids.
Okay, yeah.
And
You
so
can see it there. You can see it on the wrists and
yeah, it's very obvious in some of them, not as obvious in the others. But your main character is that girl at the top with the sword.
mm-hmm.
And it feels really good to play. It's got really fantastic art and atmosphere. It's all like a pixel game, so it doesn't look quite like this screenshot here, this title shot. But it's just really fucking solid the whole way through. And yeah, it has a super neat mechanic of like every time you move around a cell and like, you know, going from screen to screen in an old Zelda game, you like time passes in the game, and every single character in your like hometown area has a certain amount of time left on their clock, and they all know it and they talk about it. It's part of the theme of the game, and like if you're good enough, you can save them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you spend too much time away, or if you like don't do things in a good enough order, and I don't think it's super strict, but it's not incredibly easy to like keep them all alive. If you don't keep them all alive, they become mindless killing machines. And everybody else has got to deal with that.
And you even said like it can happen to anybody. So the weapon merchant or whoever upgrades your equipment, like the
literally
NPCs in
anyone.
town, all of them can do that. And yeah,
literally any of them. The game is like, it's not super punishing. Some of them clearly have more time than others. Some of the first people to go are very inconsequential, but like you want to save them all because that's part of the theme. Like it's very like a lot of the themes are very much like these android people are people. There's basically no difference except for they're mechanical, but they're basically human beings.
Yep.
Like it's a very near automata thing, but it's just really well executed, and I loved all of it. And I kind of wish I captured that on stream.
Number 4 for you, Cyberpunk 2077. I assume you're referring to the DLC that people were praising?
Just the whole game. It's really nice that Cyberpunk 2077 finally came out in 2023. Because it certainly wasn't out in a working condition before that.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, that DLC really patched up the game, and it's pretty fucking good now. And like that's what I heard, and so I checked it out for myself off stream, and it's true. Like the DLC itself is really good, but the rest of the game, when you take out all the bugs and the AI is not constantly like flipping out and being an idiot and making it either the easiest thing ever or like buggy and unplayable, it's a solid game. Yep. That's kind of all I have to say about it. It's just fucking good the whole way through. It's like, I know GTA over the past like a long time has been all about GTA Online because that's where they make their money. But like Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of what I wanted out of a GTA game, and just excels in every category, and it looks like a pretty good shooter now too.
Nice. So next would be your number 3, right?
I think so, yeah.
Pizza Tower. Heard a lot of people talking about this one.
Pizza Tower, I think that's my number 2. There was the Jackbox games in there as well, which I think I put at number 4.
Yeah, yours... Oh, you didn't name these the same way, so...
Fuck, I screwed up on the naming convention.
Okay, so yeah. Pizza Tower is your number 2. We'll go to your number 4 now, which... no, that's the wrong window. It doesn't have that there. 1 second, gonna fix. So your number 3 was Cyberpunk. Number 4 was Jackbox games.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have too much to say about this. I just had a lot of fun with, like, some IRL friends getting together and drinking or killing some time and playing some Jackbox games and just being dumb, stupid idiots playing some Jackbox games. And it's a ton of fun. And I wish I like tried to get people together to play that on stream. Like I was tempted to just stream it, but I don't want to stream like 4 of my friends who don't know they're live. You know?
Yeah, you have to like let them know and get their consent first, and that's it.
That seems exactly. That seems a little scummy.
Well, maybe we'll do like a collab with this sometime this year because I wouldn't mind jumping into some Jackbox games either.
It's a lot of fun. Drunk Jackbox games is good times. And that's basically all I have to say about it. I wish I had organized some of that on stream. And yeah, maybe that's like a good goal for 2024.
Yeah.
Do that a few times with peoples.
So your number 2 was Pizza Tower.
So my number 2 is Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is... Yeah, I saw a bunch of people like talk about it and play it, and I took a look at some of the art, like this screen grab right here, and I was like, I don't know, that looks kind of trash. And I like watched a couple minutes of someone playing it, and it turns out that person wasn't very good at it. Then when I finally tried it myself, because people just like would not stop playing it and the hype was real, that game's excellent. It's animated like, it's all pixel, but it's animated like a Ren and Stimpy or a Rocko's Modern Life. There's a lot of really old mid-90s like
Nickelodeon style, yeah.
But like the more really grungy Saturday morning cartoons, like it has like a Rugrats aesthetic and color scheme to it. But it's like Sonic the Hedgehog on crack. It's so fast and so stylish. It's absolutely built to be speedrun. The soundtrack fucking slaps. It's so good. Like it's just as long as it needs to be. The end is like the best boss rush ever. It feels really good to play. You have a taunt that is also a parry. Like, it's just so... The animation in it is lovingly done, even though it looks, like, gross. It's so good. It's... Nice. The concept for it is dumb, and that's exactly what it deserves. Its execution is phenomenal. Pizza Tower is amazing. Everybody... It's definitely not going to be for everybody, but everybody should play a Pizza Tower.
Nice. And then your number 1.
My number 1 is Cassette Beasts. Cause fuck, that game's really good, and I haven't touched it
in months
since my last stream of it.
Yeah.
And I should really get back to it. I kind of wish I played that and a couple of other games instead of Baldur's Gate on stream. Because Baldur's Gate's amazing, and I'm going to keep playing it every now and again. Because it's super good, but it's so fucking big, I don't think I can fit it in on stream. Whereas Cassette Beasts is, like, immaculate. I mean, we already talked about it, but, like, nobody has ever built a better Pokemon game than Cassette Beasts.
Yeah, you haven't seen some of the later, like, Ranger Captains. They are so good. The bosses are so good.
I believe it.
Unlike the Pokemon games where like bosses were centered around like they use a type. No, this is literally they use a strat. So like one of the ones you saw, well, one of the captains you fought, and then chat also saw me fight them on the stream on Christmas. The guy's whole strategy is he puts his monster to sleep. It gains extra stats while it's asleep, and he has an ally that is that casts a support skill that gives you 100% accuracy on your next attacks for a couple of turns. Yeah. And all of the sleep moves are 1% chance to hit unless his ally is buffing him, in which case he has access to quite possibly the strongest, hardest hitting moves in the entire game.
Yeah.
That he could just use very cheaply. And it's absolutely brutal.
Right, like up until those ranger fights, and I think I only did 2. I did like that one and then the speedy one. No, the speedy one was the sleep one.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
You did. I think you did the construction one. You did the sleep guy, and then you did Penny Dreadful, which was the ghost one.
Yeah. That sounds right.
I do remember seeing Penny
So
Dreadful.
up until those ranger fights, it's like, oh, this is a really cute not Pokemon at home, and it's got some cool different mechanics that are also really neat, and you could do some fun stuff with that. But mostly you can just kind of play it like a Pokemon and get by, and it's pretty easy. And then you get to those ranger fights, and like they have tech, and they will hit you with it. And you're like, God damn, this game is deep, actually. You can do a lot with this system. And the game goes hard on really exploiting those mechanics against you.
Oh yeah,
Which is fun and cool.
You haven't seen some of the really mean ones.
I
that are later.
believe it.
One thing I will, it's not a big spoiler. What I'll just say is when you beat the main part of the game, you can go back and refight the captains and they will level up to where you're at. One of the early ones that is in the section you had access to, hard locked me. I almost died fighting.
I believe it.
Because they basically just turtled my ass and put me in a corner, and I had to pull some shit out of thin air to barely eke out a win. It is challenging when it wants to be. And if you go into a fight not knowing what to do and not understanding how to counter them, they will fuck you up so bad. It's scary.
I have no problem believing any of that because it's fucking true. Like the system is like just deep enough on face value that you can see, oh, okay, there's some cool interactions here. And then when people start really pulling out combos, I'm certain when people really start pulling out combos, like the game goes hard, and it's not like punishingly difficult, but it is far away from easy. And like there's a lot you can do with that system, and the game knows it. And it like I would believe that you cannot break that game wide open because it will do that to you first.
Yeah, I agree. There is a final ultimate hidden-ish boss.
Cool. I think
it might have been the only thing that ever beat me because it has a one-shot move, and you need to figure out how to survive that. And the game does not tell you how to do it. They're just like, nope, figure it out.
You've learned enough at this point.
It should be super easy for you to do it, but if you die, sucks for you. Lose a whole bunch of resources.
Right. Yeah, exactly. With the knowledge that you have now, you should be able to figure this out. And if you don't, sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no. Solid game. Definitely one I recommend. You should have played on stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get around to it eventually.
Considering what you skipped out on it for, which was Lies of P and Baldur's Gate and
2023, man.
And what the hell else were you playing right around that time aside from those two?
Maybe Armored Core?
Oh yeah, it was Armored Core, and it was like Stasis Bone Totem. And like good fucking
Stasis
game.
Bone Totem is also really super fucking good. I don't know. I don't think that came out this year, but it was really fucking good.
Yeah, well, and even the games on here, they don't need to come out this year. You just need to play them this year or interact with
Right, yeah.
But you were playing Stasis Bone Totem this year, I think.
I was.
Okay.
That game is nowhere on any of these lists of mine, and it's great. Highly recommended. If you like point and click.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you like point and click adventure games and horror, specifically like a lot of body horror. That game doesn't pull any punches.
So now
it's fantastic.
Now we're up to our top 5 games of the year.
We are.
It should have been my turn to pick the category, but there's only one left, and since you forced it on me last time, we're starting you off with top 5 categories.
I think that's fair. You get to choose which one of us goes first.
Your top 5 games of the year. Number 5 for you. One of your asterisks.
Yes. So there's too many good games this year. So I chose a grouping.
The fighting
that I
games.
Loved. The fighting games category. I think Street Fighter 6 is the only one of these to come out this year. I don't actually know. I don't remember
Idol
when
Showdown
Idol
came out
Showdown
this year.
came out.
That was
Did it come out this year? Okay.
Yeah.
What a great year for fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of my time off screen is spent playing like Warframe or FF14 or Path of Exile most recently, or like Street Fighter 6 and Guilty Gear. God damn, Street Fighter 6 is like immaculate. And Guilty Gear had some updates this year that kind of changed the game, and they're about to have another update that adds like a whole new mode that's going to completely change the game. With like a new mode, it's not really going to restructure everything, but they're all so fucking good. Fighting games are like the best they've ever been right now.
And Idol Showdown,
crazy.
Double checked it. It was May of this year, and we did that on a collab. And as somebody who doesn't even play fighting games that often, I could still look at it and go, "This is a fan-made game, and it plays so fucking well."
It plays really well. It's also like Street Fighter 6 does a really, really amazing job of letting people who don't play fighting games get into fighting games. It's one of the easiest things ever to pick up and like explore and get better and go deep if you want to, and it will teach you how to talk about fighting games and like learn and get better. Idol Showdown also does a really good job of that, actually. It's like it does a very, very good job of straddling this line of like being very easy to play and like having some really cool shit you can pull off. If you try and learn, or if you have any fighting game experience, like it's there for you to pick up pretty quickly. So yeah, I fucking love all of those. Idol Showdown coming out, like it deserves a spot on here because it
For
got
a free-to-play game, it was amazing.
It's a free-to-play fan game, and it for like a month, maybe slightly less, but for like a full month, right around the time when Guilty Gear was getting updates, and just before Street Fighter came out, I think.
I think so, yeah. It would have been a month before.
It got like the entire fucking fighting game community to play a VTuber Idol fighting game, and every single one of them was like, "Hey, this is pretty good, actually.
Pretty good, yeah.
This is pretty fucking good. Who gave Botan all this sauce? Holy shit!" And then people figured out like, "Oh my god, Aki is maybe one of the most broken fighting game characters ever. She had to get nerfed. She was too good."
But okay, number 4.
People, number 4.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Is goddamn immaculate. My top 4 are biased,
of course,
but they had to be really good. And goddamn, it was very hard for me to not put Hi-Fi Rush at number 1.
Yeah,
I love this game.
it's so good.
It's so good. It's aesthetic, it's comedy, all of its characters, the fucking gameplay, the level design. I don't have a single bad thing to say about Hi-Fi Rush. I hope it gets a sequel. It's made by the same people who put out The Evil Within, which is, nowhere even in the same ballpark as Hi-Fi Rush. They're radically different games. And they did such a good job on this.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm Devil May Cry, and it nails it. It has 2 phenomenal soundtracks that all sync up with boss fights and hype moments. Like the vocals come in when you're doing really well. Goddamn, Hi-Fi Rush is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I actually do still listen to the soundtrack of this on my phone. Like I found it on like Apple Music, like the original game soundtrack, like the custom one they made for it.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's so fucking good. Like there are some songs on there that are just iconic that even now, even like past the point where I played this, some songs I just listen to them and they give me the chills in the best way.
Yeah, they had big name artists come in and do, I think, like every single boss, has a big name artist. The fucking first boss has a Nine Inch Nails Trent Reznor track, and it's great. And the original soundtrack that they made just so people could stream it without getting copyright struck by anybody is just as good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, like
Everything about Hi-Fi Rush is super good.
yeah, like for example, the first boss. Found it here. The title track for the first boss fight, the giant mech in the QA facility.
Yeah, the giant QA machine.
Literally, the song is called "Too Big to Fail," talking about
Yeah.
the company that literally gave you a robot arm, but just half-assed the process and buried an MP3 player in your chest, and decided, well, there's no point in fixing this guy. We're just gonna kill him. And that company was too big to fail, so's the song.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's so much like capitalism and especially games industry satire in there. It makes in jokes about like a copyright for directional arrows. No one fucking knows what that's talking about, but that's a real thing.
mm-hmm.
It's filled to the brim with like in jokes and satire for video game industry. And you don't need to know any of it to get it and have shit be funny.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah, fantastic. So,
Everybody should play Hi-Fi Rush.
yeah, I played it. Really, my only problem was it's the game that taught me I have no rhythm. Not the way that what this game wants. Like
And you still beat it.
I still beat it on normal, yeah. But yeah, when I was not on my game for a fight, it killed me real fast. Those fucking samurai bots, I swear to God.
Sure, yeah. I don't even know what gave me the most trouble, but like it's so good.
Yeah, number 3 for you, Ultra Kill.
Ultra Kill. I struggled to put this above Hi-Fi Rush because I love Hi-Fi Rush so much. Ultra Kill, like,
It does so much with so little from what I've seen of it.
yeah, it's primarily developed by one person. They clearly have some help in various different like bonus stages and stuff, but I think they do all the music themselves too, and the music's like amazing.
Nice.
I can't wait for this game to fully come out. It's not done yet. It just got an
They're doing,
update.
like new chapters or something, right?
Yeah, it just got an update, I think like on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or something like that, and I was like, motherfucker, I don't have time to play this right now.
That is
put
the
out-
thing a dev would do.
They put out a whole new chapter. Ultra Kill is an FPS game that does shit that the genre should have been doing for a long time. You've got a bunch of different types of FPS or even third-person shooter games, because like Half-Life kind of changed the landscape of shooters, and that you have like a big story thing going on, and it does it really well. And there's a bunch of games that have come out similarly that have done really well. Fucking Gears did really well, but I think that's more of like a gameplay thing than a story thing, in my opinion. What else? Dead Space is a really super fantastic like third-person horror shooter. Everybody.
What about the ones with Rapture? What is it called again?
BioShock.
BioShock. Yeah.
The BioShock games range from like pretty good to like really good, except for the parts that suck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, BioShock is another one that's super good. Ultra Kill is not like any of those games. Ultra Kill is primarily inspired. I think the guy said he was primarily inspired by Devil May Cry. So it's like primarily inspired by character action games, but it's like a super fast-paced FPS game. And it lets you do crazy shit.
Isn't one of the mechanics like you flip a coin and then shoot the coin and bounce the bullet off of it to kill people?
That's like the first mechanic that you get.
Yeah.
You get different versions of all of the guns that you get, and it doesn't limit you in between. I think you can only carry one version of each gun, but like you have your pistol and your shotgun and your grenade launcher and your rocket launcher and your minigun and your rail gun, and it just keeps going. They keep adding new stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, the very first thing you get to show off the style is it might actually be like a charge for the pistol, but the cooler one is you can flip a coin up, and if you shoot a coin, which is fucking tiny, it guarantees that that coin like lasers into some nearby enemy, even if it goes through geometry and then it explodes,
Yep.
which is dope.
And you can do that with
throw
any
out-
weapon, right? I think I heard that.
Well, you can throw out multiple coins, and they will hit each other and ricochet off of each other. And so if you do it fast enough, you can throw out 3 or 4 coins and then shoot one, and then they ricochet and they each hit an enemy. And yeah, once you get the railgun, you can flip out all your coins and then switch to the railgun and shoot a coin with your railgun, and they're way stronger. You can, if an enemy is big enough, you can flip some coins just inside their model and shoot the last one that's outside of it, and then they ricochet all around inside the enemy, because that's dope.
Mm-hmm.
You get your second weapon, the shotgun, and it's like, okay, this is a shotgun and a grenade launcher. That's pretty cool. You know what would be cooler? This game has a parry mechanic. You can like melee people, or you can parry their bullets. What if you could parry your own bullets? So you like super quick do a shotgun melee, and you punch your bullets to make them go faster, and then they explode. It's fucking awesome. It's got a rival fight. There's multiple fights against someone who like an enemy who's exactly like your main character, and the second time you fight them, it's one of the best fights I've ever had in any single video game ever. It's goddamn incredible. People have done crazy shit where they've like comboed 3 or 4 guns together by like shooting out a rocket and then flipping some coins and then shooting the rocket and having it come back and hit some coins, and it all works. Like the developer for Ultra Kill is insane, and it's a thing of beauty. There's Deus, you'll like this. There's a visual novel, a dating game buried inside Ultra Kill.
Why? Like I'm not even
Fuck it.
saying it doesn't fit, but like why?
Fuck it. It's a bonus stage. Do whatever.
Oh my god.
One of the first bonus stages is just like the Witness style puzzles where you're doing a bunch of line puzzles.
Oh my god.
There's a Crash Bandicoot bonus level. Like you can buy body pillows of some of the characters from this game. And because that's not enough, did you know that Ultra Kill has official butt plug support?
I did hear about that. Yes.
You can if you take damage, that can get you off in other ways. Like
For the
devs
for people
this
who
game
are truly looking for a challenge.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. The dev for this game is insane, and it's the best thing ever.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. Ultra Kill is immaculate. You have to like fast-paced action
And shooters.
and shooters, but if you do, like, the game's not out yet. It's free. Go play it right now. It's the best.
Oh, I didn't actually know it was free.
I'm pretty sure it's free right now.
Oh yeah.
I think. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it's free though, because it's not even fucking out yet.
No, it is. Not. It is definitely not free.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, that doesn't matter. Go give them $5 or $10 or $20.
It's 20. It's 25 on full price. It's $18.74 right now.
It's
But
God,
yeah,
it's so fucking good.
yeah.
It goes places. I fought like the ferryman to the river Styx on top of the Titanic, and he was wielding a giant spoon. Ultra Kill's so fucking good.
I believe you. I watched that Maxor video about it. Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Also, congrats for making it through that, because like visually, holy shit.
The several ones he did. Yes.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
I think those videos, which are a lot, a magnum opus of like breakcore editing. That adequately conveys what it's like to play Ultra Kill.
Yeah. So this was your number 3, I think.
That was my number 3. My number 4 and my number 3 are probably the ones I'm gonna gush about the most because like fucking go play them.
Yeah.
And then my number 2 is Armored Core 6. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, what a perfect return to form.
Oh man, yeah.
If people haven't played this already and don't know, then like, what are you doing? If you like mecha at all, it's amazing. If you like any of FromSoft's other games, go play Armored Core 6. It's the most accessible Armored Core. It's so good.
It really is. Like, it was on my list of ones I wish I'd played on stream. It is 100% like, yes.
It's fucking perfect. The only thing that I can, the only complaint I have is not a real complaint, which is I wish it had more like Armored Core 1 through 4 music. But the music that's there is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it was on my best there's a reason why it was on my wish I played it list. It is a very fucking good game.
Yeah, the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It has like, it continues FromSoft's like minimalist storytelling, but if you didn't like reading a bunch of item descriptions in Souls games and Elden Ring even like spells things out for you, Armored Core just hands it to you.
Yeah, there's enough plot to lead you along and enough lore to lead you along. But you can dig
just
for
enough there.
You can dig for more if you want.
You can in like a couple of places, but like there's just enough there to be like, damn, these are actually some compelling characters. I fucking love Chatty. He's great. Everybody love Rusty.
Oh my god.
Like it's all of it's so good.
Yeah, agreed. And then your number 1, wish you played it on stream. Or no, number one period. Not even wish you played it on stream, just number 1 period. Yeah.
Yeah, just number 1 period is Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Like it's the end of 2023. I don't think I need to say anything.
No.
It's Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And they did everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like needed some patches when it first came out. It could still be probably optimized a little bit, and they're gonna add content, but like, goddamn, it's so good, and they keep adding more, and it's crazy what they add.
Yeah.
Like they've since, not only is it like the most authentic translation of a tabletop RPG into a video game.
Yeah, mechanically it looks
fucking
perfect.
difficult.
Perfect for that, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does some stuff that's like not identical and changes some stuff, but everybody agrees that's basically for the better, because this kind of sucks in D&D mechanically, or like, well, as a game, of course you do it that way. They like they've done so much. Like, the game almost encourages save scumming from the beginning, and because you can save fucking anywhere, but then they put in a hardcore mode that's just like, you only get your autosave, and that's it. And if you die, you die. Runs over. Sorry, party wipe.
Yeah.
And like, AI is hard. Like, so they made it more challenging. They put in an epilogue that's basically like the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC, where like everybody, the story ends, and then everybody comes back like a year later or however long to tell you like, well, this is what we've been up to since. And wasn't adventuring together fun? And it's amazing. The reactivity to itself is through the roof.
Just the memes that came out, honestly, the fucking bear fucking, like, as much as silly as that is,
oh my god,
the actual fucking memes on that.
Yeah, we're months away from that. There's so many other things, and like, of course that's in there. Have you played a D&D game before? Like, someone is going to roll to fuck the druid as a bear.
Yep.
Of course they will. So that's in the game.
Were you the one who shared this with me the other day? I think you probably were.
Maybe.
Let me look.
I share some BG3 stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, there was something. It was an Asterian thing. which unfortunately
Asterian's so good.
does
Goddamn,
not
Neil
does not
Newbon.
narrow it down very much. Let me see.
No, it doesn't. Because he's got like a bunch of memes and a bunch of horny posting and a lot of art, but also his character arc throughout the game is like really good.
Yep.
Especially for anyone who has like lived through some trauma. Asterian rules.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of the characters are fantastic. Fucking Karlak Muscle Mommy. Oh my god.
That too. Yeah.
The game's like very horny and upfront with it, but like it's not really distasteful at all.
Well, I actually heard like when it first launched, they actually had things like gummed up in such a way that like characters were extra horny. They were hornier than they were supposed to be.
That might be true. It like there's several steps to like essentially dating whoever, and the first steps like come on real early and easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about that, but I believe it.
I thought you were the one that told me that there was like a glitch that people were just it was showing up a lot earlier.
I don't remember that. But it's very, very easy to get like a little bit of like positive, social link style thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then every single character is just like, hey, you want to sleep together? What are you doing tonight?
Yep.
All at once.
Yeah,
Let's go on a date right now.
I must not have retweeted it. But no, it was Asterian with like in like a silly outfit, like wearing like straps or something with clown makeup on his face, saying something to the party about like, what is wrong with all of you? I can't tell if you're mind controlled or just fucking weird. And he just like has clown makeup on his face and is wearing like the strappy, like full body, like leather lingerie or some bullshit.
Right, yeah.
Were you the one who shared that?
I may have been. I could look through my stuff real quick, but I think I know what you're talking about. Is it like Shadowheart and Lae'zel hanging out, and Shadowheart's just being extra horny, and Lae'zel's like, "God damn, girl," and then Asterian chimes in to be like, "What the fuck is wrong with all of you?" But he's exactly as you described.
I'm looking at yours now. You did not share this. Oh no, I need to find this.
Oh yeah. I want to see it because I think I've shared something similar. See, there's so much love for Baldur's Gate 3, and it fucking deserves it.
Where would this have been? Where would this have been? Which account?
Oh no. There's too much, man. There's too much BG3 art and memes out there.
It wasn't art. It was somebody like modding the game, I think.
Oh, it was like in-game.
Yeah. It was in-game. It was 100% in-game. I'm gonna
there are definitely already a lot of mods for that. People
found
have
it.
played
It was
a
second
lot of
account.
Pretty Princess.
It was second account.
Oh, okay.
Let me send this to you.
Yeah, go ahead and load that in if you can.
Sure, I will. Yeah, you take one look at that, and you're just like, I see what you meant, Deus.
That is, I don't think that's in the game by default.
No.
Yeah, that is definitely a mod.
Yeah, that's several mods. Actually, it might be because I think the outfit can be in the game, and the face paint is probably available somehow.
I haven't been to the circus, so maybe.
All right, we're gonna turn off this for a
great.
moment here. I'm gonna see if this is actually gonna. So this is the start of it. My Google. I don't have Chrome in as an audio source in here.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Chrome audio, unhide.
This game's so fucking good.
Like the actual.
He's the best.
And
This
then,
game's the best.
They're just wearing fucking clown makeup.
Yeah, that's gotta be her player character, and then Karlak looking like normal Karlak,
Well, even her character looks like they're like the like outfit they're wearing almost looks like it's painted on or some crap like that. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's skin tight, and not all of the costumes in that game are form fitting like that.
yeah.
So that might be a mod. That might be part of the carnival. I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing I saw. That just like, it's so good. It's so good.
There's a part in that carnival where like you can find a genie who has a magic show on display, and if you pass a couple of checks and then pickpocket him in the middle of his display, you can catch him cheating, and he's like, "You fuckers, you caught me cheating," and he teleports one of you to like somewhere you can't access otherwise, and it has dinosaurs. Good luck getting out. Like,
Yes, I love it.
There's so much love in that game.
Oh, it's so good.
And it shows. It's it's the best.
All
It
right.
won fucking everything, and it deserves it.
Yeah, which is funny because I saw people whining on Twitter about like, oh, this one and instead of my Spider-Man 2 or whatever. Shut the fuck up.
That was my favorite. That was my absolute favorite. People were like, okay, two favorites. People were like, I can't believe this one over this amazing Spider-Man stuff, and they would post like a scene from a cutscene, and everybody's response was like, bro, that's a cutscene. That's not the gameplay. That's the characterization and story is like not Baldur's Gate level. And then eventually people came back with like, okay, but here's Baldur's Gate gameplay, and it's just a picture of some dice. Like, sure, okay, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
That's fair.
but
It's great though.
yeah. But
All right, well, now on to your top 5.
so my top 5, I'm gonna start with my number 6, which was my honorable mention because I refused to not have it on this list. But I will say it did not make the top 5. I gotta call it out anyways, though.
Dirty, but okay. I'll allow it.
Octopath Traveler 2. As much as I loved this game,
Fair enough.
and it is a very good game, did not make my top 5. When I looked at things and I genuinely considered everything that was on here, did not make my top 5. Did not make them.
That's fair.
But yeah, phenomenal game. Go play this. Go play the original too. Both are good. You need to do that, Rad.
I do.
Play other things first, but yeah, when you get some time in your schedule for like a 50-hour JRPG, yeah,
There will be a lull in gaming somewhere.
sometime. Not
Probably
every year.
2025.
No, because it's Monster Hunter year.
Oh God, you're right. You're probably right.
No, we know they announced it for 2025. We just don't know
Okay.
when.
All right.
But yeah, my honorable mention, Octopath Traveler 2. That's one of my asterisks for this. Number 5 for me, Citizen Sleeper. Fairly short game. I don't know if it was indie, but it's definitely a really neat role-playing story game. If you notice at the bottom of the image, they have like those pips there of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Essentially, it's similar to like Disco Elysium and Baldur's Gate, where you're using dice to determine whether or not you succeed at actions. But when you wake up in the morning, they roll all of your dice rolls already, so you see what your options are, and you can choose which ones you use to pass or succeed a check. So like you can go into like doing an engineering check, and you can use your 3 or your 4, which you can.
So almost like you have like a deck of dice rolls that you've already done.
Yeah.
You get to apply them as you choose.
Yeah, so do you use your 5? You're going to an engineering roll, and you have a +1. Do you use your 5 and roll it up to 6, so it's a guaranteed success and a 50-50 chance to super succeed? Or do you use your like 2 or 3 and push yourself into like just a higher bracket with some chance of failure, but mostly you're going to succeed? So it's one of those like, where do you put the really good rolls? What do you spend them on? And there's a lot of strategy with it. But mostly it's here because the first stream I did for this, I played it for 2 or 3 hours. I shut down stream, I logged off, and I'm like, that was really fun. I kind of wanted to try and play that new section, that section at the beginning again and see how I do. And 6 hours later, I looked up and went, oh no, I've been playing this for 6 hours after stream. Oh, I fucked up.
That's a lot of progress off screen.
Yeah, well, I basically caught up with where I was at and went a little bit further past it. But it was still really good. And any game that makes you want to play it again after you've just been playing it for 3 hours is a good fucking game.
Yeah.
So,
That's a strong argument.
My number 5. My number 4, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Sure.
No argument there. Probably curious what's above it on the list. But
A little, yeah.
Armored
Because, goddamn, that's a really good one.
Yeah. So Armored Core's on my list. Played it.
My, like, 4, 3, and 2 are basically interchangeable. And I have Armored Core at 2. They're all great.
Yeah. Number 3 for me, Lies of P.
Sure.
We asked for Bloodborne on the PC. I don't even think this was on your list anywhere.
It wasn't. It was, like, I really like this game a lot. It does some really fantastic shit, and I had a hard time not putting it on there. I just liked everything else a little bit more.
Yeah, but like I liked it so much, I played through it on my own. I went and did a run on stream. I have done New Game. I've done the original New Game. I've done New Game Plus, and I'm partway through New Game Plus 2, or what I'm calling New Game Plus 2. It gets harder with each iteration. Things genuinely get tougher. I was watching somebody do their push against the final boss, the nameless puppet, and when they fucked up a block or a dodge, that thing could combo them down from full in like a single move, and it's not hard. Like
I believe
it's
the game
so
is
demanding on higher on those later runs.
Well, and the game is so well made that like different builds really do show they like shine in different points of the game, right? We had different builds going through the first time and had like difficulty on completely different bosses.
Yep.
Yeah, Lies of P is expertly made.
Yeah.
It does shit that I don't know why FromSoft didn't think of it first, which is stellar praise.
Yeah. And it's honestly funny to me, like some of the things that I remember seeing people talk about this. There's one artist in particular that I know is a huge FromSoft fan, a huge Bloodborne fan, and they didn't like this. And they complained about it with their friends.
Really?
And people online basically saying like the biggest complaint I saw from them is like they didn't change anything from the Bloodborne formula. Or it's exactly like Bloodborne.
That's
I'm
not
like,
true.
Why is that a complaint for you? That's what you fuckers want. Why is that bad? Take your Bloodborne on PC and love it, damn it.
Yeah, like exactly. That's not even like a bad thing because Bloodborne is
amazing,
basically perfect by itself. If you like that style, then it's stellar.
Yeah.
And also that's not even fucking true. Like
yeah. It's an incorrect statement to begin with. Like this is the same person that I told you back earlier this year. I know I told you because I told a bunch of people the story. This was the guy that didn't like the Super Mario Brothers movie because he thought it was too cynical. Like this guy just has wrong opinions about stuff.
That's a very weird take.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like it is the Bloodborne for PC that we've always wanted, we've been craving, and absolutely the community received it with all the love and support that it was shown for that. Like, yeah, it's great. I saw fucking Lies of P trending for like the last week on social media, on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because it's a good fucking game.
It's super good. It looks amazing. I cannot wait for this studio's next game in this series.
Or even just their DLC, my god.
Yeah, whatever they want to do for DLC, I don't know if it really has room for it because the game's like super linear, but they'll think of something.
There is one thing. There is actually a Stargazer at one spot, a gold one.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Cannot interact with in any way, and everybody's kind of theorizing that's where the DLC is going to be.
Sure, yeah. That Stargazer does nothing, and it's kind of interesting for doing nothing.
Yep.
So, yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, knocked it out of the fucking park with Lies of P.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing game.
So, that's my number 3. Number 2, Casepis.
Sure.
Good fucking game. Cannot praise it highly enough. Loved my first playthrough. Like, it's okay for, like, the first, like, third to half of it, and then you get to the western side of, like, the island and really start to, like, fight a bunch of bosses and get a lot of, like, understanding of, like, this is what's actually happening. This is what's going on. Now
really
you
did
understand.
Stop right before shit pops off, didn't
you
I?
did. You fucking did. You have no idea how much I was like, oh, fuck, Rad's going to be so happy when he gets to this point, and you haven't touched it in months.
I haven't. My last stream is the last time I touched it. And even before getting to, like, the hypest shit in the game and stuff really getting going, I'm like, god damn, that game is great.
Yeah. It starts off good and it gets great. And my favorite thing, there's no trading system. There's no Pokemon bullshit of like, well, you need to re-roll and start over again to get all the characters. You can get every unit in game, including all the starters. Literally, when you get far enough into the game, you can just buy extra fucking copies of the starters and evolve them into the other forms.
Nice.
And have a full team
great,
of
actually.
brutal. You can get copies. I haven't gotten to that part of it yet myself, but apparently there's an island where you can get copies of your partner's creatures.
Oh, that's cool.
So literally,
like you can do like multiplayer trading stuff.
Well, there's no like trading, like per se, but like the part like the Sirenade that Kaylee starts with, you can catch your own Sirenade.
Yeah.
So you can have a party with two Sirenades, or specifically because you can catch them, you can get a bootleg one.
Yeah.
You can get a Sirenade that's electrical instead of wind, or something like that. Like crazy strong, and it has like a fusion system that is complex as hell. Like literally, it makes a difference.
Cool.
Which creature you have and like in which order they fuse. Having like the snake in position 1 and the bird in position 2 creates an entirely different creature than the bird in position 1 and the snake in position 2. Like it matters, and it's essentially there's 126 creatures in that game. Each of them has 126 different fusions because you can fuse them with themselves.
Yeah, I don't want to talk shit on Pokemon because I have nothing against Pokemon. Cassette Beast fucks on Pokemon.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It's so good.
Like, hell, if this is a thing that matters to you, I'm pretty sure Cassette Beast also is LGBT friendly when it comes to like the romance interactions with characters later in the game. Like, it doesn't need to do that.
I think I got that. Yeah, I think I got that already. Like or at least I got that vibe from at least one side character.
Yeah. So like one of the side characters, like they're all dateable. Like I think,
It's just great. Every character is fun and good. Every bit of the combat system is fun and good. The story and the setting is the music, like
the bosses.
Yeah, when the game gets going, it gets going, and I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I've already begun to experience that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep. And then my number one, and you haven't seen it mentioned anywhere else yet, so Sea of Stars.
Sure, yeah, okay.
For a game that set out to be this generation's Chrono Trigger, they fucking did it. And
that's high praise.
Yeah, and for the highest praise I can give to this is like, you know how some games will have like that one moment that really stands out to you in a game. Sea of Stars, I mentioned it, and it has that made it to my moments list. But there's a section in the middle of this game.
Than that.
This game has a spot in the middle where I swear to God, every single stream for 4 to 6 streams in a row had something big happen that was like, holy shit, what do you mean that just happened? For 6 streams in a row. That's
hell yeah.
That's at least 12 hours of content, if not 18 hours of content, and something major happens in each of them.
That's really hard to do.
And yeah, it's like, so fucking hard to do, and it's
and make it like cohesive and good.
Yeah, and it really is. And some of it like they kind of hint at. You're like, oh, I know something's going on with this character, and then the character reveals what's up with them, and you're like, oh, I had no fucking clue what that was or what's going on. What the actual fuck?
Couldn't have been more wrong about that one.
I knew there was something going on, but not this. My God.
I love those moments. The last game that did that to me was 13 Sentinels.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't think this one fucks quite as hard as 13 Sentinels, but it gets close.
Okay.
But my God, good fucking game. Accomplished exactly what it was going for, and did so with aplomb. Like, it's such a good fucking game.
Yeah, I really need to get around to Sea of Stars. Absolutely.
Yeah. So just that top 5 showing, that like Sea of Stars, Cassette Beast, Liza P, Armored Core, you see now why Octopath didn't make the list. Because I'm like, I have to do Sea of Stars, I have to do Cassette Beast, I have to do Liza P, I have to do Armored Core. And I can't not mention Citizen Sleeper with a story like what I told. It's such a good game. I have to kick Octopath to the curb. There's nothing else I can cut from the list.
Yeah, I also had like a really hard time compiling this list.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much good out right now, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fucking shit, man. It's really good fucking shit. So we talked a little bit about like right when we were starting to get ready about like games you were excited for next year. Admittedly, it was very short notice.
yeah, I've definitely got a few. I don't have any screen caps for any of these.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, there's like a lot coming out. The fucking Final Fantasy remake Part 2 is coming out, and that's probably going to be Game of the Year. But you haven't played the FF7 remake yet, have you?
I'm going through 7 remake actually. That's
Okay,
what I'm playing
nice.
on Sundays.
Excellent.
I was just playing it earlier today.
How far are you?
I just finished chapter 7. I am in, I think, chapter 8, which is the Aerith hometown quest hub area.
Okay.
So I'm seeing enough. I'm seeing enough stuff to be like, oh, some shit's going on. The spirits were mad at me earlier about something. Now they're kind of chill for some reason. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I know it from like looking it up earlier, like some of what's going on, but not enough. BB.
It's
sorry. I'm in my Twitch thing as I was looking up a logo for something, and my favorite VTube streamer has a stream live that the title is just "Chat made me go do dishes." So I guess she's doing a dishwashing stream again, as chat's demanding that she goes in adults.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game plays so well, and so like from what they've shown off. In the second one, like you already know that first part is just Midgar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have no idea where the second one is going to end, but we do know it includes Sid and Vincent.
We know it includes Sid, Vincent, Yuffie. We also know with a couple
Yuffie's
scenes
in DLC for the first one, and her DLC's pretty good.
But she's not like in the main party.
She's not in the main party yet.
She would be in the main party in the second one.
No, without any spoilers, the ends of both of those games set them up to meet.
Yeah. From the trailers I've seen of 7R2, it seems like you're gonna get as far as the Gold Saucer because there's like part of like Barrett's like quest line there.
You have to get further than that because Vincent and Sid are in the game.
And also, there's the big Aerith scene that everybody knows that no one's going to spoil for the new generation who hasn't seen it yet, but it's the big Aerith scene that you should know about.
I think that scene's going to go very differently.
Yeah, it is probably, but getting
talking
far.
about that. Talking about that has to do with like stuff that goes on in the first one that you haven't seen yet, even though you're definitely getting hits of it already.
Yeah.
You're like, so they've shown off walking around in the fields, and it seems like it's not ultra gigantic, but it's pretty big, and there's like a lot of stuff out there that looks pretty cool, and they're definitely putting new stuff in. Like they showed the Mog House mini game from Gold Saucer just being a thing out in the field. One of the biggest hypest things is like, hey, the combat in part 1 is pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm. So we didn't touch it, or we just made it slightly better.
No. What if every single character had double techs, like a la Chrono Trigger,
or made it better? Or made it better. Yes.
Yeah. The Yuffie DLC gives you like a little taste of that, and it's way better. And so to have like every single fucking character have double techs with each other is gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown off like the characterizations is fucking perfect, and I hope they continue to nail that. They could screw things up, but given how part 1 went, I'm pretty confident that part 2 is going to be equally as amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to begin with the flashback and Calm, which like, great, cool.
Yeah.
oh man, I
Yep.
can't wait. So instead of continuing to gush about that, other stuff I'm hyped about. There's a couple of little like pseudo indie or like really indie things that I'm excited about that have like some demos out but are not yet, and I'm gonna be playing them. I think I just finished Control, right, and I'm doing all of this build up to Alan Wake 2. I think I'm gonna take a week to play a bunch of little things just
Yeah.
as like one-offs.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 would definitely be one of your big ones for.
I think I'm just
2024.
I think I'm gonna play almost exclusively that for a while, and so I wanted to like take a little break. And there's this game called Halston that got shown off at it wasn't the Game Awards. It got shown off at like some kind of poorly handled, I think like PC Gamer or whatever thing had like a 2-hour long video showcase they released recently, and it's a cool like it's Holstin. It has a free demo out, so I'm going to be playing that soon. It looks like a cool kind of like Diablo isometric style thing that's set in like a fungal zombie apocalypse, but you can also very quickly zoom in to like a third person over the shoulder view to deal with the environment and your enemies.
Interesting.
And so it just looks like it's got a lot of style to it, and I want to check that out. I can't wait for that to come out, if it's good.
Yeah.
There's this game called VA Proxy, which also has a demo out that I'm going to be checking out, which is like it's an indie game that's very much a character action thing, where the dev knows what they're doing, because it looks like you play as like a robot man with a sword, and there's a lot of cool action melee combat and a lot of cool parry shit going on, and they showed like some really neat looking like very fast-paced parry combat, parrying like fucking titans. And the thing that sold me on it is I saw a tweet from the dev where they were like, I decided that you can now parry gravity, and that if you fall a certain distance or just do like a slam attack, you can parry the ground
Yep, I remember seeing this tweet from you. Yeah.
and add that to your momentum. And I'm like, fucking sold.
Yeah.
That's more. Why did no one do this before? That's amazing.
Mhm.
I'm all in. I'm super looking forward to the next Hellblade. The first Hellblade game, Sinuous Sacrifice, was so good.
Mhm.
It has like some of the best audio I've ever seen in a game, or ever heard, and it had such a great concept of like you're playing like this Viking girl way back when, but she's schizophrenic,
Mhm.
and so you have, and it's not like real schizophrenia, but you have like the voices in your head, and it does a great job of like being a mixed media of bleeding like real life stuff into the game seamlessly. There were parts where I couldn't fucking tell because it's very very good looking, and then all of the real life bleeding in, all of the real life media and video bleeding in, like they did such a good job with makeup and setting and having the characters look exactly the same in and out, and like it was just great. It has such good storytelling that I can't wait to see what they do with the second one. And there's a bunch of other little ones that I didn't have time to write down. Like there's a few Devolver published games coming out. The Plucky Squire looks really cool. It's kind of like an old school Zelda like, except the gimmick is like you play as a children's book hero who gets kicked out of his own book and has to go like you take aspects and rearrange words in the book to change up puzzles, and the game changes like genres kind of in the same way that that game about a married couple did. What is it? It Takes Two. It looks like it changes in between like an old 2D Zelda and like a platformer and like an action game. It looks like it goes places. It's really cool.
Hi, Jay Hank. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
What's up, Jay Hank? Happy New Year, bud. I'm really looking forward to still in Devolver Skate Story. Looks dope. You play as like a demon made of glass that's fighting the forces of hell with your skateboard. So if you eat shit, you just shatter.
Oh,
But
God.
the aesthetic looks super cool, and I'm down.
Mhm.
And then on a more cynical note, I'm really looking forward to Skull and Bones, because goddamn, that game is going to get Ubisoft sued into oblivion.
Oh God, why is that?
So Singapore, the country, paid Ubisoft millions and millions of dollars to develop a pirate game, and I don't even know if it was specifically a pirate game, but that's what they're doing. And the idea was, well, let's get some like Singapore devs going and get people in on this games industry thing. And that was like 3 or 5 or more years ago. And Ubisoft has basically just used the studio as a vacation resort, and they haven't trained or promoted fucking anyone.
Oh.
And the game looks worse than if you just cut out all of the Assassin's Creed stuff from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and published that as a game. It
Wow.
looks bad.
Wow.
Like visually it looks pretty okay, but they clearly completely squandered Singapore's money, and I think Singapore's going to be a little mad, and that's going to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, we do like to give Ubisoft shit.
Yeah, fuck them. So I'm not going to play that game, almost certainly, even though like sailing around with your pirate crew and Assassin's Creed Black Flag was like the best Assassin's Creed experience I'd had in a really long time, because I don't care about those games anymore.
Yeah.
That's gonna be really funny. So yeah, there's like a bunch. There's a lot of stuff out there that looks pretty cool and isn't out yet. But yeah, that's my little, spur of the moment list.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm really hyped for Devolver stuff and Sinnoa and Ubisoft's failure and the next Final Fantasy.
Yeah, all good choices.
You got to keep me up to date on your FF7 progress, because that game rules.
Yeah, I have somewhat mixed experience, because I remember like after the last one doing the Mako reactor number 5, and just being like, man, I wish everybody would want to shut the fuck up. Because like you get on like an elevator and go the wrong direction. Barrett's like, does he know where he's going? And Tifa's like, give him a chance. And I'm just like, I don't need that sass from you two. And today I'm playing and I met Aerith, and she's just like sassing me left and right. And I'm like,
she's the most sassy.
She's the most sassy. And I'm just like, bitch, shut up. It's not fair. You're cute. I don't want to yell at you. Like,
perfect.
I want to punch Barrett in the nose. Tifa and Aerith are
the
amazing.
best.
Barrett needs to chill the fuck out. That man needs to get laid.
Barrett's probably my favorite character in that remake.
No, not mine. He's the angry Twitter person that went off and actually became a terrorist. So.
But I mean, it's FF7. You play as eco-terrorists.
Yeah, you really do.
It's like that's the genesis.
Yeah,
sort of.
More or less is. No, the one big one that is on. Well, I guess I would say two. Big one for me. Cassette Beast. I'm playing on the stream again. I'm gonna continue my Christmas stream of Cassette Beast. I'm gonna jump back into that save file, playing it. I actually have a stream scheduled for that on Tuesday of this very week. I haven't posted my schedule yet, but it is on my list for me. I'm fucking playing Cassette Beast some more.
Hell yeah.
Good fucking game. Good fucking save file for me. I wanna get through that again.
Great game.
The other one, which is actually kind of funny, it's something somebody mentioned to me while I was playing Sea of Stars, and I looked into it. It's called Chained Echoes.
I think I have that on my Steam wishlist.
So, looking at it on Steam here, the description says, Chained Echoes is a 16-bit RPG set in a fantasy world where dragons are as common as piloted giant mechs. Take up your sword, channel your magic, or board your mech. Let's go. Like, and it looks...
That's all you have to say to sell me.
Yeah. Like, that is the description. And I'm just like, okay. And you watch the trailer, it's like, okay. Like, this is This is Xenogears in a fantasy world, but also really cool. You know what? Fucking I'm sold. So
Does it? I'm looking for it in my list right now, but like we were talking about earlier, my computer's being pretty slow. Is that the one that looks like a SNES game? Like
yeah.
it really looks. It's a bunch of sprites and super cool looking.
Yeah, it's a 16-bit style RPG. Yeah, so it looks like an SNES game.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, like that's 100% on my list. I will basically, like, the big thing for me, and I kind of had my stream yesterday talking about like my kind of like not New Year's resolution. I do like a theme instead, where it's kind of like trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff that I've been doing that's just been taking up time and not adding as much to my life as I wish it would.
Yeah.
One of those being the gym that I've been going to see a trainer.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Well, I've been doing it for a year and a half. Thank you. But it's basically like, for me, it's I'm leaving work at 5. I'm getting home just in enough time to change, to head out the door again, to get to the gym, to be there for like a half an hour, to leave and come home and immediately make dinner. So it's like 7:30 till I finally start relaxing.
Right.
Twice a week, and it's like I lose 4 to 5 hours a week on this, and I'm so exhausted. I'm tired of this. I want this done, and I'm getting it out of my life. I paid for a bunch of classes already. Like I canceled a while ago, but because you have to give like a 30-day notice, I think I'm not going to get charged for training for January. But I have so many classes built up because I was sick a bit last month, and so was my trainer. So like I'm scheduled out to the end of January for classes, and I still need to cancel the actual gym membership with the gym itself to like fully write it off. But aside from that, like once that's done, like that'll get me back 2 nights a week, and I can start doing some weeknight streams again and move stuff around and change things. And I think that's gonna make things a little bit better too.
That sounds positive, because like, I mean, going to the gym all the time is definitely good for you. I want to get like, I still don't have a job, but that's on me.
You've got other stuff you've been working on too, like.
I've had a busy. I mean, I think everybody has a busy December, but I've had a busy December.
And also, your last job kind of like burned you the fuck out too, and burned you hard. So like,
it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was not great. But yeah, I want to get like a steady schedule, and then I want to get like a bike, and just ride, and maybe do some exercising every once in a while, and get like a steady thing like that. But definitely set up like a good work schedule and streaming first.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I kind of like, I think I need to put more cardio in my where I work on. I might even sign up like for another gym and just go in for like cardio stuff. But like the one I'm at, I signed up for like the biggest plan, which also like lets me use the like tanning beds and like hydro massage bed. Like I've never used it. I've been there like a year and a half. I haven't used any of that shit. So like fuck it. Like why am I paying that much? And I don't want to. Right now I don't want to go at all. Like it's December in my part of like the country. It gets cold. It gets snowy. This is the time I'm most likely to skip anyways. So like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of doing shit at home, or getting like jogging or biking in for cardio.
Yeah. But basically, Chained Echoes is a big one for me. Cassette Beast is a big one for me. I also paid for like an annual subscription for Switch for their like retro gaming thing. I want to jump into some more of that. Because they have Breath of Fire 1 and 2 on there. They have Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on there. I played Earthbound earlier this year. That was real good. I want to play some more retro games because I keep talking about like I play retro games and like how I describe myself to people, but I don't actually play any right now.
2023, man.
Yeah.
A bunch of new shit was super good.
Yeah. And also, like, my schedule ever since I got the new job was twice a week, so that cut me down too.
Yeah, that's very limiting. Yeah. You can play like one game a month.
One game,
maybe two.
Two if you're lucky. Plus, I've been doing collabs with people occasionally, and that's like been on the weekends. So, yeah. Or I have days like today. Like I think, was it last weekend too? I had like another double, where like I had my stream in like at noon, and then I did something else in the evening, collabing with somebody. So like, yeah, it's It's a lot. I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people double stream, and I would love to, but that's a lot.
Yeah, and you'd have to start earlier too for you, which
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, aside from like those couple things I mentioned, probably the most thing I'm most excited about for 2024 is just more news about Monster Hunter. I don't know when it's coming out. I think they said this summer they're gonna give us some more info, but the game is still slated for sometime in 2025. I don't know if that's gonna be like a February release, a June release, or a December release. And
yeah, well, and sometime in the summer is like a ways away.
yeah, well, I got the impression that we were gonna get it like in 6 months. So I think I'm assuming like June or July is what we're gonna get the news from Monhunt. Would be my guess, or at least to have them start talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But even the little like teaser that they showed had a lot of neat stuff, and people are theorizing. Like one theory is that it's going to be like the end of World and Iceborne, where they just have a map that has all of the biomes in it, and that's just going to be the entire game. You're just going to go from this huge biome map of essentially like combining Breath of the Wild and Monster Hunter is what they're theorizing.
That would be a really big upgrade. I mean, Worlds, that's like a similar leap as to what World made.
Yeah, it's by the World team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really long jump, because I remember looking at it, and it depends a little bit on like what you consider a Monhunt game. But
well, I mean, World and Rise. There's like a Monster Hunter Stories or RPG or something like that in there somewhere, and like, yeah, that's a Monster Hunter game, but it's not a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the original one was 2004. The second one came out in 2006. The third one came out in 2009. And 4 was technically in 2013. But you also got like the variations of it later. So it was like Monster Hunter Tri, and then there was like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate in 2011. So that's like the DLC section. And same with Monster Hunter 4, because Monster Hunter 4 was 13. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate was 14. Monster Hunter Generations was 15. Generations Ultimate was 17. World was 18. Iceborne was 19. And 2020 was nothing, but that was 2020. With Rise coming out in 21 and Sunbreak coming out in 22. Which is
so it would
fine.
make a sense. It would definitely make sense if that's coming out, if the next one's coming out in 25.
Well, like I meant like it's kind of expanding and getting bigger and bigger, because like from 4 to 5, from literally Monster Hunter 4 to Monster Hunter World, it's 5 years. But they have Monster Hunter Generations in the middle, which is kind of a Monhunt game that kind of did a lot of things, and like that was the one that was on the Switch.
Okay.
But yeah, from base Rise to, or from base World to base Rise, it's 3 years, and there was an expansion out in the middle of that. To go from Rise to World, it's 4 years minimum. And technically it's been 3 years since the expansion, so it's a bit of a gap. It feels like a gap,
right?
Especially with like World, then Iceborne, then COVID, then Rise, then Sunbreak. Like there was something every year, or something being the reason why there wasn't something that year.
Yeah. Still, if they're making like big advancements in how they build those games, because they're always the same game, but just
on some
bigger
level.
and better and cooler.
Yeah. But I thought there was 2 teams that did it too. So like, well, one is one is releasing their game, the other one's building their next one. So the World team has
that's
had
how they
since,
put them out in like 2 or 3 years instead of 6 or 7.
Yeah. So the World team probably got delayed in 2020. Because really the only thing that came out in 2022, Sunbreak came out, and in 2023, the only thing that came out was Monster Hunter Now, which is essentially Monster Hunter Pokemon Go. That's the only thing that came out that was Monhunt related. And there's not going to be anything for 2024 other than news for Wilds.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine they're still set back from where they want to be.
Probably, yeah.
But for like what they're probably trying for, mid to late 2025 sounds like a pretty reasonable guess.
I'm hoping early to mid. I'm thinking like February to like May or June.
That would be nice, and I would love it.
Yeah, because that like you could have like a Game of the Year style game come out at that time, because that's when Elden Ring came out. Elden Ring was a February game.
Oh yeah.
And Tears of the Kingdom was a May game, so like, I don't think they're necessarily going to be trying to go for the Christmas crunch.
No, and like 2024 is probably going to have some pretty good games. Like anything that comes out in 2024 is going to have incredibly stiff competition with FF7 Remake Part 2.
Yeah.
No matter when that comes out.
Swear to God, they better not be doing a new Horizon game. I know they're doing a DLC, but they better not be doing Horizon 3. No fucking chance they're getting Game of the Year.
Oh, I feel so bad for those people. Those games deserve more credit than they get. They're really good.
The first one went up against Breath of the Wild, the second one went up against fucking Elden Ring.
Yeah, they had zero chance.
Yeah. Jay Hank's asking what games are announced for 2024. Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, or whatever their actual title is the only one that I really know is coming out. Rad mentioned a couple of like indie ones.
There's a lot. I mean, even outside of indie ones, from the Game Awards, we got a pretty big list. Even though I think most of like the super big ones are probably 2025, 2026. Devolver put out like a pretty funny, cute like short thing a few days ago, a week or two ago, maybe right around Christmas. I think it was just before the winter Steam sale started. They literally put out an announcement that was like, hey, don't buy any of our games until the Steam sale happens. And they usually have like a big presentation during some game service, but they just kind of did it themselves this year. And it was a really cute, like, as cheap as possible show with Muppets, where half of it was just like, you should buy the games that we already have out, but also here are some ones that are coming out soon.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are slated for 2024, and I love everything Devolver. I love almost everything Devolver puts out. So even though they're just like a publisher.
So I'm looking at something here online. So I have the list of games, bigger games that are coming out in 2024. They also said something that the Nintendo is potentially releasing its Switch successor in the second half of 2024.
We're getting real close to that.
So
yeah.
But looking at January, Bulletstorm VR is coming out, which is a surprise to me. I did buy Bulletstorm for the PC recently. It's an old like FPS game with some fun mechanics. I didn't realize there was interest in a VR version, but Prince of Persia Lost Crown is one they announced. Last of Us 2 Remastered is coming out. The Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, so for those Yakuza fans.
That's a big one. Yep.
And
that one's gonna be pretty big.
That's all just January, along with Tekken 8 for those Tekken fans.
Yeah, they're hyping up Tekken.
Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink coming out February. There's a Jujutsu Kaisen game, which the anime fans will like that. Persona 3 remakes coming out. That Suicide Squad one that probably is going to be really, really bad.
It's going to be awful.
Yeah.
There's an Alone in the Dark game coming out in March. Dragon's Dogma 2, super huge.
Ooh, yeah, good point there. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 R. Star Wars Dark Forces remaster. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if that's coming out or not.
That's supposed to be February.
No, wait.
That's
not one of the Star Wars ones that definitely got canceled recently.
Yeah, so
that one will actually come out.
Final Fantasy 7 R is 29th of February. Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster is the day before. It's not going to do well at all. Not with that competition. Outcast: A New Beginning is March. Dragon's Dogma 2, South Park game.
Another South Park game. Those last two were pretty good.
There's a Tales game in April. Destiny 2 update in June with nothing announced for May.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's the FF14 expansions in there somewhere. Like, there's a bunch that are slated. I don't know how many of them I'm super hyped for, but like, There's a pretty good amount.
Yeah, I mean, they said 2024 video games with no release. One of them listed here is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. So, like, yeah, Final Fantasy 14,
maybe.
Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail.
I'm going to be playing that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, A Last of Us 2 remaster.
Hades 2 is supposed to be
squeeze some
Q2
money
of
in there.
2024. Nice.
Oh, hell yeah. Hades
Real good.
was so good.
I would play that on stream. Hades 2, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got here?
There's like a lot.
Paper Mario: The Thousand Years Door on the Switch. So that's getting a port.
That's a great game. That game has a race war in it.
Let's see what else here.
I don't know. I think we've mentioned most of like the big ones that we're kind of excited for.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through the list here and seeing what else stands out among for this. The Wolf Among Us 2, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Huh. Like, I'm not super interested in it, but it is kind of neat. Oh, Visions of Mana, that Legend of Mana one that they were kind of talking about.
Oh, isn't that a remake of 3, or is that a new one?
I think it's supposed to be a 3. Yeah,
Yes, I can
2023
accept
got
3.
games for a decade's worth. Exactly. Yeah, like
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Rad and I have been saying that for months. Like, there was so much good shit that came out. Like, the year started off strong with like Dead Space and what the fuck came out in February that like was really good for people too, other than me liking Octopath.
Resident Evil 4? That may have come out a little later.
Yeah, but like we had Dead Space 2, RE4, the new Legend of Zelda, new Street Fighter, Baldur's Gate, Sea of Stars, Lies of P, Armored Core. Like, it's a fucking banger of a year.
Baldur's Gate alone is like enough for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Starfield came out.
Yeah, it's actually funny that
oh man,
that one tweet you made, or I think you retweeted it, talking about like somebody saying like,
dude, I
whatever,
saw that.
Yeah, whatever happened to that game, blah 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 blah. I actually commented on it like, yeah, it kind of got overshadowed and people were jumping down my fucking throat. I muted that.
It was real back and forth. There was like very divided opinions.
Yeah,
on that.
I muted that one because I'm like, I don't want to listen to you people bitch at me in the comments about how, oh, technically it wasn't. Like, listen, my fucking gym trainer was going on about Starfield for the longest time, and they played Baldur's Gate 3 once, or saw somebody play Baldur's Gate 3, and he's like, that's gonna be game of the year. I'm like, yeah, my one buddy Rad says the same thing. Like, yeah, it's gonna be game of the year.
No question.
So
Bethesda needs to like really, really update their shit, or they're dead after their next game failure.
yeah, potentially. But yeah, no, that that me replying, same, Baldur's Gate 3 kind of overshadowed Starfield. Apparently got 200,000 views and 1,000 likes.
Wow, last time I saw it, it had like 500 something likes, but that was definitely a week ago. Yeah, I mean, people. I was reading that people were very back and forth. Like there was an adamant, like there was an incredibly small, the game's not dead crowd, but it was mostly overshadowed by people either going like, yeah, well, Baldur's Gate 3 overshadowed everything, or, I mean, it didn't really overshadow it because like the game was the most mediocre thing ever, so
well, like
everything overshadowed Starfield. It did that to itself.
Yeah, well, because I remember I mostly pulled that from, I was watching a podcast where like they were still talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and like Starfield came out and then something else happened in the gaming industry right around that time. Like, I'm not sure if it was like layoffs or like
there was a lot of that this year.
Or it might have been the SAG strike, the Screen Actors Guild, like VA team, like
which includes like writers and voice actors.
Yeah, which was right around the same time. So that might have just like, there's other stuff that happened right around the time that Starfield came out that just kind of made everybody go, you know what, I don't fucking care about Starfield. Like, I can play it later. And I think that's kind of the death knell for that, is it did not release to great applause and nothing about it like really.
But like even the people who did play Starfield were like, this is actually worse than Skyrim.
Yeah.
For the most part. There's this dude on YouTube named Nakey Jakey who does little like YouTube docs every once in a while. And he has a series that he wants to stop doing, but every once in a while just has to continue doing it, which is basically like X's design is outdated. And he's got a really, really good video about Starfield and like how they've basically been crippling their own design ever since Todd took over. Like Morrowind was pretty good and it's been downhill from there if you're a gamer who likes RPG stuff. Skyrim was clearly like the hottest shit ever for a really long time. But as far as, and like modders went wild with it, but Oblivion was not as good as Morrowind, and Skyrim does some pretty good stuff, but then like Fallout 4's was okay, except the story sucked, and so did a lot of the characters, but not all of them. Fallout 76 was garbage, and everybody knows it. Fallout 3 was not that good until they brought Obsidian back in to do the DLC, and then that's excellent, but that's not Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they've basically been pushing, like, the same engine since Skyrim or before, and that's what they made Starfield in, and, like, the way they designed it, especially if you go watch Jakey's video, the way they designed Starfield just, like, seemingly intentionally cuts out a lot of the good shit about those games and replaces it with like loading screens and really, really, really boring missions. There's like one good chain of missions in that game, apparently. And then the rest of it's just bad.
Yeah. So I'm looking up some more stuff to talk about here at the end of our collab, and I found a tweet somewhere, somebody shared saying, "Fellas, I'm starting to think Silksong isn't coming out this year."
Oh no, not even close. I wish I could remember what it was. I think it was PC Gamer or PC World that had a presentation that had like some pretty cool stuff shown off. And one of the things they showed off, they were doing their own top 10 list and then doing like previews and game trailers in between. And it was, I figured if I like responded to a tweet with something about this because I think Girl DM was talking about it. They gave, I think, GTA 6 one of their most anticipated games of the year, and this was before the trailer leaked and they were forced to publish it, and then said they wanted to put Silksong on this list, but they didn't have enough like new information about it to put it on the list. So it was really like they had a little Silksong segment and it was just shit we've seen before.
Yeah.
And then they had a GTA segment and it was just like streamers playing GTA 5. And so like the list itself is complete nonsense BS.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really funny. Even they were like, and here's some news about Silksong, and it's literally shit we saw 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And everybody wants that game. It's probably going to be really good, but I would not be surprised if Silksong didn't come out until 2027.
What's funny is actually one thing I saw people actually getting really upset about on Twitter was the Blade trailer that they showed at the Game Awards. Apparently that is actually slotted for like a 2026 or 2027 release. And people are like, why the fuck would you tell us about this yet? Don't waste our time. Don't get us excited about this. And like there was somebody in like the game dev field that was all like up in arms about it. Like, no, we do this to like get hype about this and to like encourage people to like apply for jobs to help build the game. Like you shouldn't use a trailer to try and bring in talent to apply for a game that you're in the middle of building. Like that's terrible. Like
that screams that you are not going. That screams that like the dev process is not going very good and you need new blood to do anything to it.
Well, that was somebody's theory, like rather than the company itself saying
yeah.
But it's still, it's like it was such a fucking stupid take. And yeah, I was kind of with those people who were like, yeah, like give us something to chew on when it's coming out soon. Like Wilds is about the most I can say I would tolerate, because like it's the end of this year. They're telling us you're gonna have more info in 6 months, and sometime in the next 2 years you're gonna get the game.
Yeah.
Good. Tell us now. That is a good time to tell us. Don't show us a trailer for Blade that's coming out in fucking 4 years.
Yeah.
Like that's a waste of all of our time. Because I saw that and I was like kind of excited. It's like, oh hey, it's Arcane. Arcane's making this game. Arcane also made Deathloop, so who the fuck knows if it's gonna be good.
Pretty much.
So
It could be anything. J Hank mentions that it's really funny that like a lot of fans stuck with No Man's Sky. Yeah, No Man's Sky got a lot better, and then the modders completely dropped Starfield, which is a true thing. Like the Bethesda modding community put out a notice that was just like, hey, we know we've done like a lot for Skyrim and Fallout 4 and everything. We're not going to be making mods for Starfield. It's just not happening, which is wild. They've never done that before. That's such a hardcore fan base.
yeah, that fan base throwing them under the bus is super strong, and I love it.
I kind of do too. I think GTA 6 comes out in 2024. Maybe it's 25. But
That's my list from earlier. Let me
think
see if I
it's
can find it.
24. Maybe not. To go back to the Silk Song stuff real quick. It was much
GTA
earlier
is
this
not
year.
on the list for 24 that I can see.
Maybe it hasn't been confirmed yet. Oh no, yeah, J Hank is right. It's slated to come out sometime in 2025.
Yeah.
I think earlier this year it was before the golden joysticks, way before the VGAs, before that PC gamer thing I was talking about. There's another like smaller show that was talking about when things are going to be coming out, and they put out like a tentative wide release date for Silksong that was like Q4 2024. We're pretty sure. And the devs for Silksong came out and were like, "Hey, don't say that shit." Like publicly on Twitter, they were like, "We don't know when this is coming out. We don't want anyone saying our game is coming out at this time. Redact that. Take it away. How dare you? We didn't tell you anything resembling a release date. Why the fuck did you say that? We have no idea when the game's coming out."
While on the
Stop
one hand,
speculating.
I can applaud the Silksong devs for like trying to squash that kind of rumor.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like, fucking put your game out already. Like, it's been years. This was supposed to be DLC for Christ's sake, and it's ballooned into what it's turned into now. Like,
I get that. I'm of the argument that just says let them take whatever time they want. I don't give a shit. It'll come out when it comes out.
there's a point of exhaustion. Because I'm looking at Hollow Knight right now. It was February 17, so early. It was essentially Q1 of 17, or technically Q4 possibly of 16. Like it's been 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah.
And we
did
have
start
a
as DLC.
we have a
and they
tr-
just
we
they
have
just kept adding to it.
Yeah, we have a trailer for it. We've had a trailer for more than a year. We still have
but they
no updates.
They keep adding to it.
But that's the problem. Like at some point you have to you have to shut off the fucking dev and release a game. Like otherwise you're just kind of wasting everybody's time. So like it reminds me a little bit of like Patrick Rothfuss with his one book series. Like his first book came out, did very well. His second book came out like a year or two later, and he had originally like claimed like, yeah, I can get these out real quick. It's been 10 years since his second book, and he has just basically. I blocked him on social media because he just acts like a giant man child to people. Like,
well, that is annoying.
Yeah, like I remember early 2020, somebody like enough people were apparently messaging him like, "Hey, I hope you finish the book I hope you don't catch COVID and die before finishing the book. And he like quote retweets that.
That's a bit much.
And he's just like, hey guys, saying this is not a compliment. It's like, no one thought it was, you stupid fuck. Like, what?
Yeah,
what,
definitely.
In what
no
world
one,
did
no
you
one,
think this was a compliment? Write your fucking book.
Definitely, no one thought that was a compliment. I still would fall on the side of not saying it.
Yeah.
I don't really care how much time the Silk Song devs take. I want that game like now, but also, and there's definitely like I agree. There's definitely something to be said for like having a producer that says, "Hey, cut that shit out. Like, make a tight game."
Yeah.
And set a fucking deadline that you can stick to.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
important in the development of like anything.
Yep.
Anything. If you're a writer, if you're an artist, if you're a fucking anything.
Yeah.
Having deadlines and being able to stick to them like helps you keep a process solid.
It also
At the
has you
same
releasing
time-
content and not stringing people along, and also getting
Yeah.
revenue because they need dev money at some point. Like Hollow Knight did extremely well. Like,
They might not. They're a really small team, and if they want to fucking live off ramen in their small apartments while they make a fantastic game, okay.
Well, also,
I
Hollow
don't
Knight
care.
did extremely well. So like, if depending on how much dev money they have and how frugally they spend it developing the game, yeah. potentially they could live quite comfortably for a decade.
A while.
But
Yeah.
like the gaming community is going to be. I'm honestly, I'm just tired of people complaining about not being Silk Song not being out for 6 years.
It's the meme is a meme of a meme at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Like J Hank says you should let it cook but not get overcooked. He's
Yeah.
right. Well, Duke Nukem had there is like a good analogy there, honestly. Yeah, it was so incredibly overcooked. The problem with Duke Nukem was they kept like seeing what new games were doing and being like, well, we have to remake portions of the game in order to include something like that. And I kind of don't think that's what the Silk Song devs are doing, but they are definitely sitting there coming up with ideas and continually adding things where like they probably could have been done by now if they had a tight schedule that they stuck to. So I don't know. I am not getting heated about it. I want that game now. If it comes out in 4 years, so be it. I'll play it then.
Yeah, I don't know. I just there's a part of me that's tired of waiting for creative types to just take forever to make a thing. Like, as somebody who's had to deliver on timelines and deadlines, like, it's doable if you set reasonable goals. Like take that author I'm talking about. Like, if he writes, like, let's say let's do something crazy, like, you know, 100,000 word book or something. I've seen authors do like writing 1,000 words a day. Like, that's not hard. Like, I've done writing. It's not hard to write 1,000 words in a day as a professional full-time author. You're doing.
No, I think Stephen King said he writes like he wants to get at least like 2 or 3 pages done a day, maybe even 5 at maximum or something like that. And that's probably less than 1,000 words.
Yeah. So.
And he's known to be like prolific with the amount of books he puts out.
Yeah, he really is. But like, if you do 1,000 words a day, which is really lowballing, like, that's 5,000 a week, 52 weeks in a year. That's 250,000 words. This guy had something come out a couple years ago by one of his editors saying, not only have I never read a word of this guy's book for editing purposes at all, not even a draft, I don't think he's written anything in years. And it's just like, no, it's not J.R.R. Martin, though that is another one that we can kind of complain. At least he was making a TV show. Like, but Rothfuss has kind of like gone out and done like a lot of other stuff. He's done like novellas of his things. He's done a bunch of Kickstarters, and he's just kind of been a twat about a lot of things. There was a big beef from his last donation drive that he did, where like he said, if we hit this one benchmark, I'll read you a chapter from the book. And they of course blew past it, and he has apparently been like reneging on that for like over a year.
You can't read a chapter of a book if the chapter doesn't exist.
Basically, yeah. But he also does things where he's just like, hey, manuscript's done. It shows a pile of papers sitting on top of each other. That was 5 years ago. It's like, fucker, if you had just written crap, you could have finished the entire book
Yeah, something
in
would
that
be out
time.
by
Like
now.
you could have done the entire book, even as a draft, in 1 year. You could have done, like, even if doing like 1,000 words a week, which is laughably short, you could still do a 200,000 word book in 4 years. Get it off to an editor for 1 year, and then have another 4 years to like clean it up. He just hasn't, and that's the frustration of it. Like when you look at like, no, I know I can break this down into numbers, and like he just hasn't fucking done it. Like for 1,000 words a week, it's 200 words a day. How the fuck can you not write that much? Like, yeah, makes me grumpy.
Sticking to schedules is important
Yeah.
in the development of anything.
Yep.
I definitely think that's true. At the same time, I look at people like H Bomber Guy putting out just the best content, and it'll take him like a year for one video. It's fine. It's fine.
Won't be worse than what the Game of Thrones fans got. Well, from what I heard, like apparently the ending of the show was essentially what the ending of the books was supposed to be. They just didn't have the nuance going into it from his original like manuscript. So they basically got the summary of like his cliff notes and then just did a bungled job of like bringing it to life.
That's kind of what I understand as well.
And then of course he's probably like going into this now like, well, I guess I have to rewrite the ending because they fucking hated it. But it's whatever.
I think he saw all of the incredibly valid complaints about how that went and is desperate to avoid any of that.
Yeah, just the problem
But
is.
the problem with a lot of it was just like fucking instant teleportation travel all across the place that made no sense in a show where like people actually on a journey and every little step of the way being big parts of the story were like significant. But yeah, I think they had an incredibly rough sketch outline.
Yeah.
And dropped the ball hardcore.
Yeah. And also like part of the reason to get something out in a timely manner is it gives the community less time to brainstorm better ways of this could be, because like crowdsourcing ideas from community and like having places like Reddit or Twitter like put together their ideas of what this could be in the short term, that's great. Give them 3 or 4 or 10 years, they're going to write a better book than you did. They're just going to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast. One person cannot compete with the 10 million fans of whatever the fuck this is. And it's going to be one person's idea about this scene here, one person's idea about that thing there. And it's going to combine together for a better book than you ever could possibly write. And
potentially, yeah.
Just get your book out. Just get it the fuck out so that they don't have time.
There's a lot of like
way.
fan theories and fan crafting for a bunch of, every different various media out there that are utter garbage.
Oh yeah,
that the author would never put out. I think the more dire consequence is people just losing interest. Like, imagine if Silk Song did take another 5 years to come out, and when it came out, no one cared. That'd be really fucking sad.
I mean, yeah, because the genre's changing over time, like, and the focus of what people want. Like, it could come out and revitalize the genre that Hollow Knight was in, or it might come out and people are like, oh, but we care about like party games now. We don't care about Silk Song, or this isn't enough like Lies of P and whatever the next couple FromSoft games have been like, so we don't care anymore. It's not Soulsborne enough for us. Like,
at that point, it's like the Half-Life 3 problem.
Yeah.
Right? Steam is not going to put out Half-Life 3 unless they can fucking revolutionize something, which means they're just not going to do it for a long time because the tech isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, as I've talked about with like Tiberian and J-Hank before, it's not like a really great reason to not work on a game, because there's still story going on there that you could tell and have a really good game, even if it doesn't revolutionize the industry like Half-Life 1 and 2 did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember seeing you talk about that in one of your streams. Where it's just like they should just put it out to end the story and stop trying to like revolutionize the tech.
Yeah. yeah, simultaneously for both Half-Life 3 and Silksong, I get where the developers are coming from, and I don't want to rush them, but also like you don't need to have that goal in mind to make a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like another Castlevania could come out and learn all of the lessons of Metroidvanias that have come out recently and be like, Jesus Christ, this is the next Symphony of the Night. This is Hollow Knight. It's all about Castlevania 8 or whatever. It could happen.
Yeah. And that just is kind of what makes waiting on things like that so frustrating and sad, is because like, yeah, it's you're the longer you go, the more you risk somebody revitalizing your strategy in a better way than you thought up. And then what do? Do you redesign your entire game? Like,
You better not, because like Jae-Hing pointed out earlier, that's the Duke Nukem problem.
yeah. Or even like, honestly, for all we know, they put it out, they had it coming close to being out, and then fucking Unity came out with their bullshit this year. Which that might have been, actually that was I think the thing that came out when Starfield was out. Unity came out with their fucking policy to like charge people for downloads of games. Or that fucking clusterfuck of a scenario.
Yeah, Jae-Hing, they're not yet. Yeah, Unity rescinded that, but only after they like golden parachuted the CEO who said it.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, like that whole thing was a massive clusterfuck, and I think that came out when like right around when Starfield happened, so like that completely buried it too. Speaking of gaming news, which we're getting way off topic now.
We're so incredibly far off topic.
Did you hear the news?
We're done with topic.
Did you hear the news? Bobby Kotick is officially gone from Blizzard.
Oh yeah. He is out of Blizzard with like $325 million, $375 million.
Something like that.
You could make like...
You saw my tweets that I retweeted.
You could make almost 4 Baldur's Gates with that much money.
Yep.
I didn't see your tweets.
I retweeted a couple stuff
yeah.
that was basically like, I want to source these and read them properly, because they were chef's kiss.
You had to learn Godot mid-project because of the Unity move. I don't think that Unity thing is a thing to worry about anymore, but it certainly was.
It
for
definitely
like a couple of
scared
weeks.
the hell out of people, and I definitely saw one game developer.
Every game developer reacted to it like, "What the fuck are you thinking? This
Yeah.
ruins everybody."
Yeah, one that was
in
actually
an industry that's already kind of struggling, actually, despite like the fantastic games that are coming out. We had a lot of layoffs.
Yeah.
We have a lot of CEO bullshit. Like. But at the same time, if a few quadruple A studios evaporate into dust, then good.
Yeah. So the original tweet was saying Bobby Kotick was paid $155 million, and the EA
It was
CEO,
double that.
according to SEC filings, the average annual income for U.S. game workers is $38,600 compared to
Right.
$68,000 for the movie industry. One person, quote, retweeted that saying, "One day we'll figure out the mysterious dynamics of why game studios dying despite record profits." In other news, Bobby Kotick's paying a payout could have single-handedly floated 2 to 3 AAA studios for a full year.
Yeah.
Yep. The other
Yeah,
one was
it could have.
measuring CEO salaries by how many game developers you could pay a living wage instead really makes those, well, we had to do layoffs announcements, make one's blood boil. You could pay 2,000 plus devs $75K a year for the price of one Bobby Kotick payout, while still paying him $1 million.
Yeah, you could have made like 5 or 10 Witcher 3s.
Yeah.
Imagine if instead of paying Bobby Kotick any money, which I mean, okay, they have to pay him like some, I guess.
I think
maybe
$1 million
legally,
is
but
fair,
fuck it.
but $155 million?
I think it's
Fuck off.
more than fair. And like, imagine if Blizzard put out 20 games instead of giving him that money,
Or imagine they
and
spent
like
some of that.
5 to 10 of them were good.
Yeah, imagine if they spent that fucking money on Overwatch 2. It wouldn't be such a goddamn flop. from what I hear, he interfered a lot with that and like caused a lot of those problems like on the back end before it even came out.
Yeah, there's oh god, no, that's another 3-hour stream.
Yep. So yeah, like so long and thanks for all the fish.
Pretty much.
So, but
Well, Deus, I'm getting quite tired. That was a good stream, and Happy New Year's to everybody. J Hank, thanks for being here, yo.
Thanks for being here, J Hank, and thanks everybody for joining us.
Bobby does indeed have powerful lawyers. I think that's where a lot of the dev money went.
Probably. Yeah, let me see who to raid. There's a couple people online. You know what? I'm gonna raid my Oshi even though she's playing Minecraft now.
Go for it.
Yeah. But thank you all for joining me. My next stream will be Tuesday night. I think it's at 6:30 Eastern time. I'm gonna try and get my schedule out after this. But yeah, we're gonna be doing more cassette beats that night.
Hell yeah. Xepius rules. I am done with my build up to Alan Wake 2, but I'm going to take a small break to play, I think, 4 or 5 little games I want to check out and do little one-offs. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'll put out a schedule tomorrow, and there's going to be some cool indie action stuff and Gumbrella, and I forget what my 4th or 5th game are going to be.
But yeah,
I'll have a schedule out tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Have a great New Year. I'll put a schedule out tomorrow, assuming I don't get drunk playing Elden Ring randomizer tonight.
Or more Baldur's Gate for you.
One of the two.
All right, switching scenes out.